All right, y'all. Welcome to All Politics are Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. Y'all know if it's Friday, y'all know it's time for All Politics are Local. But more importantly, y'all know if it is the fourth Friday, y'all know it's time for the disciples. So up first is going to be the disciples, of course, with our beloved brother Minister Haqq Muhammad, Amas number 25. Our beloved sister, the Reverend Louise Roundtree. Of course, she is now, you all know, the councilwoman at large in our beloved city, along with our beloved brother, the pastor in the hood, Pastor Ali. So we're going to be up first with them, and then she's going to have some guests come through. So she'll announce that who those guests are going to be. And then, of course, my brother Zaid got some folks coming through. So I'm going to let him make that announcement. And, we're going to talk with DJ Rhino up after that. What we doing after the disciples, Zaid?
I thought First Lady was coming on for the Winter Village. That was my understanding. And after that, I have Toni Erwin. Toni Erwin is the aunt of Andrew Washington in Jersey City. That's a Jersey City police violence fight we have. Their brother was killed in the mental health crisis. A young man's birthday is Monday, and they're having a birthday celebration for him in Jersey City on Sunday. Okay. So we're going to lift him up a little bit on that. And then, of course, as you said, DJ Rhino will close us up with this hip hop segment, his weekly hip hop segment.
Okay. Yep. So I'll let Roundtree talk about who the guests are going to be on the.
Yes.
All right.
Well, everybody's coming on. Good evening, family. Good evening, Brother Ed. Good evening, my dear beloved brother Baba. Listen. Tonight's going to be an exciting night. It is an honor once again to be on All Politics are Local, America's number one political hip hop radio show. I'm excited, and I thank Brother Ed for having the vision some years ago. We got to celebrate our 10th anniversary when it comes up. I don't know when that is, or the next anniversary, whatever that might be, because we have been consistent and faithful in the studio and out of the studio during COVID. And after COVID, we have been faithful. You've been faithful. You've been consistent, getting information out to the community for those who are tuned in. And if they don't tune in when we're on the air, they surely can go back because it's on Facebook Live, and we can definitely reach the masses by way of
and YouTube, Roundtree.
And YouTube. And
we're live over there too now.
Yes. And we know as we're on tonight, the men's meeting is taking place with Honorable Mayor Raz J. Baraka, because every fourth Friday at 6 p.m. he is at, well, this month as not usual, he's at Central High School. But you know what, brother? We have Minister Abdul Haqq Muhammad, who is the fire. One of the fire starters of the show called The Disciples, and of course my brother, Pastor Ali, pastor as known as Pastor in the Hood. We honored his wife this week as Shiro of the Year, Melina Ali. Yes, we did. The South War Clergy Alliance. We do a show. A service every year, Thanksgiving service, the week of Thanksgiving, and we select people from the community to honor. And this year we selected some sisters. And Melina Ali was one of those sisters, the first lady of this generation. We know she's had some struggles. She beat cancer. She beat that cancer with a bat. There's a song
to come on or tell that story. Absolutely.
There's a song that they used that somebody put pen to paper, Brother Baba, and they don't quite say beat that cancer with a bat. They say some other stuff. But she y'all heard that song, huh? It's a domestic, to me it's full of that sound like domestic violence to me all day long. Or some type of violence, but in this case, it was a victory for Belina Ali. She had a rare form of cancer, but then, in spite of all of that, when Pastor Ali was going through his struggles, you
Yeah.
talking about an example of a woman of God and a first lady or a lady in a man's life, looking after him and taking care of him and making sure not only were the doctors on point, but not any and everybody could come running up in his face or running up in the hospital while
Yeah.
he was trying to heal. We want to commend her, congratulate her once again, and thank her for being the woman that she is. Um, so my brother Pastor Ali, not sure what platform he's on tonight, and we're just thanking God for both of these young men, Pastor Ali and Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad. So we have a great show tonight. We have an awesome lineup tonight. We have a young lady policy advisor for the mayor, amongst other things, communication strategist, Sister Shoshanna Page. She will be on tonight. Then we have First Lady Linda Baraka, who will be on tonight. And we have Mr. Obalaji Jones Baraka. He will be on tonight. And they're going to be talking about. I'm sorry.
Obalaji is the oldest of those Baraka babies. Yes.
Oh, I know. I know that he's the firstborn. Firstborn boy. Yes, he is.
Obalaji can drum his West Africa off, boy.
My Lord, my Lord. Wait a minute. And full of wisdom. And listen, I'm going to have to say it again when he get on. But the truth of the matter is, this man this brother comes up with some of the most phenomenal, unified ideas. I remember he came to me and said, look, we need to do an interfaith basketball game. Of course, someone did it. But he came to me before this person ever thought of it, and they're not doing it anymore. So I know when I take on something, I'm consistent. I'm consistent. So once you take on something and you start it, you got to finish it or stay with it. Got to stay with it in order to be effective, or for order for it to have any significance. So someone else did start it, but he came up with that idea sometime ago and helped these people that went on and did it put it together, organize it. He came up with another idea, international festival down, and he comes up with some of the most brilliant ideas to unify people. And not only does he come up with the ideas, it's successful. There's significant projects. Recreation is his middle name. Basketball is his first name. And but amongst other things, it's just maybe I should say recreation is his first name. But I'm just excited that he's coming on tonight, and he and First Lady Baraka will both talk about the Winter Village that's coming. I don't want to talk about it because they're going to talk about it. Shoshanna is going to talk about, along with First Lady, an initiative that we're doing to help. Listen, it is possible to be debt free. Let me tell you what I mean about that. People always say, no matter who you are and what you do, when you leave here, you're going to leave owing somebody. The truth of the matter is, you don't want to owe a whole bunch of people while you're here. You don't want to go through life living from paycheck to paycheck. And there is a way if we just help people learn how to manage. So there's a women's financial empowerment piece coming up, and Shoshanna and First Lady Baraka are going to talk about that. Ovalaji and First Lady are going to talk about the Winter Village. We will be opening up tomorrow. And what's next? And I want to do a shout out. The mayor did it. He talked about some brothers on Avon Avenue. He said these brothers on Avon Avenue were actually giving out Thanksgiving dinner on yesterday, food on Avon Avenue. So I want to shout them out too. That the brothers on Thanksgiving Day were doing that. They were feeding the community. Brothers that could have been anywhere. We want to also shout out Weekway. And listen, I'm gonna shout out both teams because I used to tell my son when he played basketball, I used to tell him he'd be upset if the team lost, and I'd say, "But you're both winners. You're both winners. You might not have had the top score today, but never think that you are a loser because your team might not have had the top score." Shabazz played Weekway, and Weekway walked away for the Super Bowl. the Soul Bowl, the Soul Bowl winners for the historic Soul Bowl game yesterday. Weekway walked away um, with with a pretty high score. So we pray for both teams, both players. Congratulate both teams and all the players, and definitely the ones who walked away with the highest score on yesterday. Applebee's on 2 days ago. My brother Ed, for 10 years, 10 years, Applebee's has been partnering with myself. They asked me one day. They said, not 10 years ago, when I first started working for with the mayor, the current mayor. And I went in there and I was talking to some people. And they were like, what can we do to help you? And I was like, this is a restaurant. Like, there's not a whole lot. It's a restaurant. So you can cook, you can feed people. I never discuss money. Y'all know I don't do that. So they said, okay, well, let's do something. The mayor came in July. I had that conversation in August. In November, they decided to open up their restaurant on Thanksgiving Day and allow me to do 2 seatings for Thanksgiving. They came in on Thanksgiving Day, fed, served, and cooked.
Wow.
That was in 2014, November. They have been doing it for 10 years. The 10th year was day before yesterday when we did it at the Riviera. For 10 years, we've been going to different locations. They don't just cook the food. The staff from Applebee's comes and help me serve it. I bring the faith leaders. They come out. They talk to the people, hang with the people, no matter whether it's the homeless, I'm sorry, residents without addresses. We went to the Riviera on this week. One year during COVID, we went to the Y. We've been to Nantucket World when Donald Tucker Center was open. We would open up different places. We would pick up the food. They come and serve it after they cook it. Then another sister, Brother Bob, another sister that owns a restaurant down on Mulberry Street, said to me, what can I do? I want to give back. I want to give back. Another restaurant. Thanksgiving Day, she opened up her restaurant from 11 to 2. Made turkey stuffing, yams, greens, string beans, corn, fried chicken wings. Her wings are they're just phenomenal. Wings make you hurt somebody. She came in, did all that cooking the night before. We went in there yesterday. I partnered with her. Went into Good Eats yesterday and fed anybody that walked through the door dinner, Thanksgiving dinner. We wasn't looking for just those with residents without their addresses. We had some students from Rutgers and NJIT come in because guess what? Some of them wasn't able to go home.
Right.
And when they heard about it and saw the flyer, they were able to come down and get them a nice.
Right. Yeah.
Huh?
Students ain't got no money. That's right.
So the students came down, especially those. It was more. I saw some students come in. I put them on Facebook Live. I was like, you mind? And it was like, no. One was an engineer of construction engineer, and the other was industrial something. But I was just so excited that they came, that the students were coming once they heard about it, because now we really giving back. We giving back because they weren't able to be with their families. Mm-hmm. Some of them couldn't go home.
Yeah.
So they sat with us. Some sat with us. There was a lady whose oven was broke. And she came down and she said, I need 4 plates. And we didn't put no number on the plates. They could take whatever they want. Mm-hmm. Some ate there and they said, can I take it with me? I said, you can eat here and take one with you and have it for later. Giving thanks is not just a one-day thing for me and anybody I'm around. The truth of the matter is, every day they just set that aside. The president came along and did that. And it's not about the pilgrims either, because we know how that story goes, Baba.
Don't get me started.
I'm not going to talk about it. We're not going to talk about how the indigenous people got duped. But the truth of the matter is, since we're going to move on from that, how can we continue to contribute in this day and age to those who are the least of these, or those who just need a hand for a moment, or some concern for a moment, or some love for a moment, or a smile for a moment, which can make all the difference in the world and somebody's life for a moment. So I want to shout out Jazz from Good Eats from opening up her business, buying all the food. She didn't ask nobody for nothing. Of course, I'm going to do something for her, but she didn't ask nobody for nothing. She said, I want to do this and I want to partner with you. And she did. And we
And
came down there. I brought my staff
Roundtree,
down there. Huh?
and where's Good Eats located at? Where's
85 Mulberry Street, Newark, New Jersey.
85 Mulberry Street? Okay. Yeah, let's shout her out and let's make sure we give her, let people know where she's
Mm-hmm.
at so they can go and support her for that. You know,
Yep. Goody. Google it. Google Good Eats.
Good Eats, 85 Mulberry
I
Street.
think it's
Okay.
85. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I
That's
better
right.
look at it.
You're right.
Yeah, I just know where it's at. And the sister is a community sister. She grew up in Newark, raised in Newark. She had a business in New York. Her mother is a hairstylist, but her mother
Okay.
also is a cook and had a truck, a food truck. I don't know if Takesha still has a truck, but I know she opened up her doors and the food was good. Somebody put a plate of the food on Facebook. Uh, oh, hospital workers. Hospital workers heard about it because, of course, some of them couldn't go home, and University Hospital is not that far. So a couple of university people came down. Not saying that some of these places might not have had something for their staff, but everybody's not going to give you turkey, collard greens, string beans, sweet potatoes, stuffing, rolls, pie, you name it, corn on the cob. When you see that, you like, okay, you know what? All I got to do is make my plate and go sit with somebody or somewhere and just relax. So we had some, not just students, we had some people that were working that could not be with their families. Stoves broke. People that were in living in they had living spaces, but they weren't able to cook. So when somebody said to me today, I gave out groceries today. I do it every Friday, just as the mayor's been doing it for years. With Mitty Baraka on Wednesdays, they give out the Hello Fresh. For 15 years, I've been a good neighbor doing the same thing, giving out every Friday food. And someone said to me today, I said, I want to know where you're taking some of this food because I don't ask people when they come and get boxes, like boxes of cookies and boxes of cereal. I have a guy that comes to pick up stuff, and I just let him take it. So today I said, so where are you taking this? Because it's actually delivered to me. I'm responsible for making sure it gets to the people. And he says, oh, I just go around town dropping it off. I said, well, bring me back a list because I want to make sure that I know where this stuff is going. That's important. And he says, well, I don't know if the people at Penn Station will give me a list. I said, you got a box of chicken. Ain't nobody at Penn Station getting no chicken.
Mm.
He's like, no, I didn't mean it that way. But I'm just saying, like he got his little lines crossed up for a minute, and it's okay. But there are too many people that really need sincerely for us to take that don't need. And sometimes people just take because it's there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
But in our
Yeah.
case, we want to make sure. And I never ask. I don't care if you drive up in a Mercedes and want some chicken. You know why? Because I don't know what's in your pocket. And it's not my job to question who we take care of. It's my assignment to make sure I give it to you. And if you don't need it, God will deal with you. That is not my business.
Hey,
So
Roundtree, I see your guest. We
somebody's
just
on. Thank you, God.
Yeah, we need to make sure as OB's
There she
camera.
is. Thank you, God. Woo.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Shoshana.
Good afternoon, Councilwoman. Hi, Ed. Hi, Saeed.
What's up, Shoshanna?
How
Okay,
you
who's got
doing?
something going on in the background?
Me.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
sorry.
good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Disciples, where Brother Ed Riley is our producer, visionary, and listen. And let me say this, Brother Ed Riley, Esquire. He is you already know him. I don't have to introduce him to you, and I don't have to introduce you to him, and I don't have to introduce you to Baba, who we already know is the greatest advocate, Zaid Muhammad, on this side of heaven. Listen, we thank God for him, and we thank God for this. All
Oh, she
politics
done
are
had us
local.
some good Holy Ghost wine to come up with that one.
so, so, so welcome once again to the All Politics are Local. Um, Lord Jesus, number one hip hop political radio show where we do know that Ed Riley. Hello, beautiful Kim. If you're tuned in, the young woman that makes Brother Ed look so good, we got to give her a shout out. And to all of our listening audience and viewers this evening, we have on the line, on the air for your listening and for your viewing tonight. Wonderful Shoshanna Page, who I love dearly. She is an amazing, amazing, amazing young woman. We had Obalaji on. Did we lose him?
Yeah, he might be having some problems clicking on, but when he comes back, we'll put him in.
I was going to introduce him first since we're going to talk about tomorrow night. And
Yeah.
Linda is coming on as well. Let me make sure. Text her Shoshanna and make sure she got the link. I sent it to both of you at the same time. All she has to do is click on the link. We're working on some very, very, very amazing things, as we know that the mayor is a progressive and a forward-thinking, forward-moving, people-centric, you name it, nothing but growth, 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 growth. And you know how, Brother Ed, while we're waiting on her to come back, Oblige to come back, and we're gonna turn over to Shoshana. You know how people plant grass and they don't want people to walk on their grass because they know it will kill it, right? And that's sometimes what we have to deal with in the city of Newark. We plant grass and it's growing and it's looking so beautiful. And my mother used to have a fit at the mansion. She would tell me to go outside and tell the kids, hear me, children from Broome Street and Howard Street and Mercer Street and Lincoln Street. She's calling me, telling me, go out there telling kids to get off my grass. I guess she figures I'm a kid. You know,
Right.
they might be people I know or whatever. And I'm like, oh no, we're not doing that. But she said the reason. I said, Mommy, what's wrong with them playing on the grass? She said they're killing the grass. So sometimes in life and in communities, we plant seeds. And because people don't understand, and I guess that's the best narrative, they don't understand or they don't know how to plant or what it takes to nurture
Cultivation.
something, they start running
Cultivation.
across our grass. There he
Cultivation
is.
is what you're talking about. Cultivation.
They
Plant and
don't know,
cultivate. Yes.
but they don't know. So if they don't know how to cultivate, sir, they run across. They just keep running across. But let me tell you something. As long as whoever planted the seed has some people around that's going to make sure that grass is kept, it won't matter. And that will lead me into there we go. Linda Baraka is on the line, our beautiful first lady, our leading lady, Linda J. Baraka and Shoshana Page. So this is the way I really wanted to rock. I wanted to rock out with opening up first with what's going to take place tomorrow night, which is Winter Village. And we're excited because the visionary is on the line and she's going to talk about it. So Obalaji's coming on as well. I want to turn it over to our first lady, Baraka, to talk about Winter Village and all the exciting things that are going to take place with that tomorrow.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me again. I'm excited to be back on with you guys. The last time around, you promised me that you were going to come and live stream from here, so we're still waiting.
Yes, said that.
We coming.
He did say it. You're right. He did say that.
We coming.
So we have to go next month or either earlier this week, next week, because next month is too long. Next month is too long to have to wait till the fourth Friday. We don't need to wait till Friday. We got to find a way to do that now.
A Roundtree. Listen, the first lady is just like my wife, right? They don't let me forget nothing.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. They're not
That means
supposed
she's
to.
a smart lady.
Brilliant, brilliant,
Yep.
brilliant.
Yep. And before y'all get started, I just want to, for full disclosure, Shoshana is my sister. She's my partner. She's my ace boon coon. And Shoshana is one of the smartest people I know.
Oh, thank you so much, Ed. And likewise to you and Brother Zaid. I know we've got a lot coming up. We've been working on the Civilian Complaint Review Board legislation and a number of different initiatives in the city that will benefit the city and also the state. So I look forward to working with both of you. Brilliant. Love everything you guys are doing and happy to be here today.
All right.
So let's start out with the Winter Village.
Right. So
Opening.
tomorrow night we have our opening day of Newark Winter Village. The Winter Village is going to go from tomorrow through January 7th. It's every single week from Wednesday through Sunday. Wednesday 3 to 8 p.m. and on the weekends we're 12 to 8 p.m. at Mulberry Commons, downtown Newark, right across from Prudential Arena. Tomorrow during our opening day, we'll light the tree, courtesy of Newark Downtown District. Newark City Parks is our partner. Newark Happening is our partner here. Horizon. We've got a lot of support from a lot of the corporate sponsors this year, and a lot of municipal sponsors as well. So Horizon, Prudential, HBSC, of course, the City of Newark is one of our partners. Office of Violence Prevention. So we're really excited about tomorrow.
So we're inviting all of your families. And watch this, each one reach one. We're not just inviting you, Brother Ed, and you, Brother Baba. Listen, one thing we must do is support our own. And we'll go, I say this all the time. You don't have to go to Rockefeller Center. You can come right down here. They got bumper cars. They got the ice skating. They got the food trucks. They got the vendors, the big old tree here in the city of Newark. Call those folks out of the neighborhoods and let them come down right here in the city of Newark. And I'm just saying, okay, he said his son, your son's birthday is January 7th, so is mine. My son, not my birthday. My birthday, June 4th. My son's January 7th, too. But listen, you need to invite all of your people, everyone on this live, everyone that's tuned into this live. Come on down to Mulberry Commons. They are setting up. It is beautiful. Hot chocolate. Tony, you have our different vendors. Now, what do they have? They have bumper cars and what else, First
Right.
Lady?
So we have bumper cars. We have ice skating. If you can't ice skate, you can sit down and get in the bumper cars. If you want to learn, we have skate assist. On Saturdays, we'll be doing Saturday mornings. We'll be doing learn to skate with the Devils alumni. So they'll be coming over. Those are like pro skaters. They'll be coming over to try to help us learn how to ice skate. And so I'm really excited about all of that we have going on. If you want to learn more about Newark Winter Village, you can go to newarkwintervillage.com so that you can get more information about what we're doing down here. And like Reverend Roundtree said, you don't have to go to the city for all of that. It's right here in downtown Newark. You can catch any bus because all the buses come downtown and come right to Newark Winter Village.
Bring your babies right down here for an experience you probably wouldn't go to New York for anyway, but you'll watch it on TV and talk about it. So we want to thank our visionary, Lady Linda Baraka, for having the wherewithal to go through with this. I remember the igloos during COVID where people couldn't go to restaurants and they couldn't do certain things. So they partnered with the businesses to help them in that area during a very, very difficult time for us. And we were able to go down there, and Kai Campbell would make us some oxtail burgers and shrimp burgers. And we were able to, what was it, that hot apple cider? There was a whole lot of stuff we used to buy. And you can come on down now and support not just our businesses, but give your children a wonderful outside experience with the ice skating. I even got into bumper cars. Now, I'm not messing with no ice skates because I need my ankles. And I don't want to mess around and even make no mistake and twist one. That's not going to happen. But I truly got into bumper cars. I want y'all to know. I broke 3 toes during COVID in my house. I run around in heels all day long. Never broke nothing. The doctor told me, Brother Baba, that if I did what he said, I'd be able to wear heels again. I wore a flat for 3 months and I was able to get back in my heels. So I getting on ice skates now, but I'm telling all of you who are young enough to go ahead and do that, and even elders that have enough nerve to go ahead and try that if you don't already know. Let them teach you. Let them teach you. But I'm sure gonna get in the bumper cars and go for the Christmas tree lighting tomorrow night. What time is the Christmas tree lighting, Lady Linda?
I'm on mute. Sorry, guys. It's 4 p.m. tomorrow at Mulberry Commons Park. We'll be here. And tomorrow, you can actually come for free. So everything is free because we want the city to be able to come out and experience it for themselves. So tomorrow is free. Please come down. You don't have to worry about registering when in order to skate or ice skate.
So I'm
And
gonna.
Lady, don't you have some transportation coming from the
Yes.
different wards and so forth?
We
Wow.
sure do. And that's through our gracious partners, Office of Violence Prevention, Newark Arts and Education. They have transportation leaving from the different wards tomorrow. I don't. But I'm sure that if you go to
Oh, she just went on.
She muffled herself. She's not muted, but she muffled herself.
Can you hear me? If
That
you
that
go
Now
was,
we
to
that was
their
great,
social media pages, Office of Violence Prevention and Newark Arts and Education, you'll be able to find out more information about how you can get on their buses.
Okay.
And I
Yep.
believe that's also on the city's social media pages as well.
I got knocked off of social media.
I'm going to send you the flyer um, that I have, Brother Ed and Brother
Yep.
Baba. I'll send you that so you can share it also on All Politics and Locals page,
Yep.
and have the information for yourself. Um, amazing, amazing, amazing.
And yes, we
You
are trying to do birthday parties. We've done a number of corporate events here at Newark Winter Village last season. We have
I
some
saw that.
scheduled
Yes. Okay.
for this season as well. And then we also do birthday parties. So people, instead of like going to different things, you can come down to the city of Mulberry Commons Park with your group. You register, you ice skate, you get some snacks, you get some food. We have private igloos where people are able to bring their groups so that they have something more intimate as well.
Wow. Wow. My daughter-in-law would love that. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Great stuff, y'all. Great stuff. An
do not
an
miss. Do
emergency
not
kitchen.
miss. Do
Well, now,
not miss the
this is year
opening
two
night.
or three for the village.
Say that
Y'all,
again, Bob. I'm sorry.
this is two of you or year three for the village.
This is year 4,
Year
actually.
four.
Year
Wow.
4. Like Reverend Roundtree said, we started in humble beginnings at the old PSCNG Plaza across from Military Park, where
Wow.
we were trying to give people an opportunity to get out and recreate safely. That was during the height of COVID, but we also wanted to be able to support small businesses in the city, right? Because a lot of businesses were struggling during COVID. So we partnered at that time with the Yard and Black Swan Espresso, 2 Black-owned businesses here in the city, to do the food and snacks for us. In year 2, we came over to Mulberry Park, where we brought ice skating for the first time in the city of Newark, outdoor ice skating. That was year 2. Year 3 was last year, and we're on to year 4. So we're really excited this year.
Tradition,
And it keeps
tradition.
getting bigger
American
and bigger and
tradition.
bigger. It is so beautiful.
Yeah.
You guys have got to come and spend some time, not just pass through. It is so beautiful. Like, I was never a Rockefeller girl, you know. Of course, we went to Rockefeller Center for the Christmas show, but this right here is just amazing. The first year, I think I took my granddaughter because she was here, and the second year, third year, I just went down there like 3 nights. If it wasn't but just for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, just for the experience, the ambiance, the atmosphere, just to see the people come from different parts of the city. So tomorrow night is no cost. Only salvation is free. They put free on the flyer, but there's no cost. And you normally have to pay for something anywhere you go, even if it's just an admission free fee. But First Lady Baraka and her partners have allowed a plan, or put together a plan, not allowed, put together a plan where the first night there's no cost for anything. And then you have to go back if you come at no cost for anything and tell your brothers and your sisters and your cousins and your aunties and Pookie and Mookie and all of them there to come on down.
It's a beautiful webpage too.
So,
And I just shared
First Lady Baraka, you have
webpage.
anything else?
No, just if you need
Well,
any
she's
more
got to stay
information
on.
and if you
You still
can't
got to
make it
stay on because
tomorrow,
Both of y'all. One of y'all.
she
Yeah, y'all.
she muffled it.
that's Reverend Roundtree. If you can't make it tomorrow, you can always go to newarkwintervillage.com to find out more information to get about our hours so that you can come down on another day when we're open. But we'll be here in Mulberry Commons Park from tomorrow through January 7th.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a beautiful webpage too. Very beautiful. It's a good looking webpage. And that
All right.
helps.
And so, Roundtree, there was something else you wanted to talk about. You wanted to discuss.
Shoshanna had an initiative and
Yeah, the
the economic
T3
financial
initiative.
literacy piece. Yes, go ahead, please.
Both of y'all talking. I can't hear. What you say, Baba?
No, Shoshana, we wanted to lift up
Right,
Shoshana
Shoshana. Right,
financial
Shoshana's going to
literacy.
come on, and First Lady needs to stay for this as well,
Right.
because Your first lady needs to stay for this because there's a new, it's not a new initiative, but it's going to be new to the city of Newark, led by our own first lady of financial empowerment for women, for women, for women, for women. Listen, guys, Dr. Buster Sawyer has been doing this for 18 years. The first lady, in her infinite wisdom, followed the divine connection, direction to see what we could do to help our sisters. She's already been a part of leading the women in our women's meetings with myself, Shoshanna, and council president. But something bigger came across her mind, and she decided to step out on faith to do something on a much larger scale. So she is spearheading a financial, as I stated, um, was it women's financial empowerment? But First Lady, do you want to start, or Shoshana, you want to start, or who wants to start that conversation with where we're going and where we plan to end up and how long it's going to be?
Right. I'll start. So we, like Reverend Roundtree said, Shoshana, myself, Council President, MacIver, Aisha Glove of Audible, we all have been working very closely together for the monthly Newark Women's Meeting. And out of that meeting, each month we were meeting on different topics. And out of that meeting, one of the topics that kept coming up was financial awareness, financial freedom. People were really interested in those two topics. And so we decided to partner with D Free to start a Newark Women's Movement campaign where we are helping 1,000 women in the city save up to 2.5 million or reduce their debt by 2.5 million. And that's really, really important because a lot of times we are working in this hustle and bustle, right? We're not really just thriving. We're just literally just making it. We're surviving. So what this is going to help us do is to actually help the women thrive. And we know that when the women in the community are doing better, our entire community will do better. So I'm really, really excited about this campaign. Shoshana has been doing the legwork. Like you said, Mr. Riley, Shoshana is one of the smartest people that you know. She's one of the smartest people that I know. And so we allow her to take the front lines on this one. And so we follow behind Shoshana on this. And so she's been doing a lot of the lead work to make sure that we get this going. But I'm really, really excited about this Newark Women's campaign.
Oh, and I just want to say thank you for your leadership, First Lady Baraka. It's been truly an honor to just work with you on changing the lives of so many women here in the city of Newark. For the past year, we have been working through the women's meeting to really create a space for women so that they feel safe, provide financial support, whether it's mental health support, or just a number of different things that we're experiencing as women, right? And so I just want to say thank you to your leadership, to the leadership of Councilwoman Roundtree, and as well as Council President MacIver, just for creating that space also for us here in City Hall. But we're really looking for, we come from a data informed lens, marrying the mayor's Newark forward values, whether it's creating an equitable city, a more educated city, a safer city, a more empowered city. And we're just really excited to do that through the lens of changing these women's lives. We have some lofty goals as the first lady shared, but really looking at how we're going to really make a mark in these individuals' lives. And I'm really excited. Our Newark Women Moving Forward, that is our coalition of not only women around the city, but also institutions around the city. So we've got incredible partners, which Councilwoman Roundtree named, that is D Free, Audible, Prudential, and a number and a myriad of more. So stay tuned to what we have next. We're excited. We're just getting started. And stay tuned to how other individuals can be a part of this and make things move forward. But just want to say thank you to First Lady for allowing me to be a part of this. It's really truly impacted my work that we do in the policy lens and how we think about systemically changing the lives of women in our city and across our state, because we know where the city of Newark goes, the state is sure to follow.
The country. Ken Gibson said America. He said wherever America's going, wherever Newark is going, whatever that quote is, Newark is gonna get there first.
That's right. And I stand corrected. And Newark is leading the way in a number of national fronts, and I can go into many of
That's
them
right.
today. And so this will be one of the national models that we're doing. I don't believe any first lady of any city is doing something as this magnitude within the city of Newark. And we're just really
That's right.
excited to see what we're going to do next. So stay tuned, because some great things are coming out of the city of Newark.
That's right.
Shoshanna, is there a link that you want to share in connection with that campaign?
Yes, actually, we're working on the website. We have our full launch that'll be happening in January. So stay tuned. We're really gathering those organizations that are committed to moving those women's lives forward. Where we're meeting with them, we're partnering with them, and we're just trying to ensure that we have the right steps in place. But the official launch will, I believe, be in January. So
January.
once that, everything will be launched in January. So we're really excited about where we're moving.
Now, let me just
And we need our allies and men to support us as well. So
That's right.
we're
That means
looking
that.
for Ed Riley
That's right.
and
you got,
Brother
you
Kim.
got,
Zaid.
you got two
That's
old
right.
members right here.
That's
Kim,
it.
Kim Riley.
Kim.
Kim
We need
Riley, I
Kim.
need
We
you at that
definitely need
meeting on
Kim.
November 29th. I need you at a meeting on November 29th. I'm emailing it to you tonight. The invitation, I just want a yes that you need to come. We need you at that meeting on November 29th. I will tell you about it. And watch this. Brother Ed, Brother Baba, you know some women in leadership that has a circle influence. Everyone has some circle of influence. My father used to say, if you give somebody a soapbox and put them on a corner, somebody gonna come and listen. Everybody has. Now the thing is, what are they saying? We're saying something significant, and something that's going to help our sisters. And as we help our sisters, of course, they're always going to be a way for the brothers to be helped. But this is a major, major, major initiative. And we thank God that we got a progressive first lady that's going to be leading the charge on this. And we just going to walk right beside her to make sure that whatever it is, they say one can chase 1,000. So if it's just one of us that can do that, I'm sure that one of us can bring 1,000. That means that this is just a beginning of what's about to happen in the city of Newark for our sisters. We've been baby stepping. We getting ready to take some giant steps under the leadership of First Lady Baraka. So Baba
No,
and Brother Earl.
I was just going to add, and you I can add this as a question or as a statement, however each way you want it. What you're talking about is an important piece too, because one of the things that's still underappreciated about what we're trying to do around the question of financial stability in this town is get folks to take the step from being vulnerable renters to becoming stabilized homeowners. And the whole question of debt clearance, credit repair, becoming financially solvent is an important step in that direction. So I don't know if y'all want to just add to the practical space of that can go. That's the only way we're going to beat gentrification. We just can't beat it by just with signs, and calling people names. We got to paradigm and put ourselves in position to actually own the spaces that we live in, so folks just can't come in and take them or displace
So
them.
absolutely. So here we go. And I'm going to bring this up because this is so very important. You always hear the mayor talk about, buy, 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 invest, invest, invest. She talks about the young men that stand in front of the buildings and they gamble, and then somebody comes and buys the building, but they could have all got together, took their money, and bought the property. Now they want to get mad at the person that bought it when they had first dibs on it because they were right there on it. Truth is, and people don't know how to manage their money, they can't buy nothing.
That's right.
Some people still, and that was my whole thing of financial literacy. That while we talking about how to get money, that's one thing. What you do with it when you get it is another. How you maintain it is another. There are people literally not able to pay their rent, but you want to tell them how to pay a mortgage and how to buy a house. Well, let's see how we can help them maintain
Mm-hmm.
getting ready and to getting rid of debt, but at the same time managing it
That's
and
right.
learning how to save. Because if
Yes,
you can't manage what you got, you'll never be able to get what you want.
that's right. That's right.
So this is really
Yeah,
important. The whole
where I'm going to, just to build further on that, is that I was the knocker program. That's very much at home in Newark. We could transition folks right from that paradigm right in the knock and get them stabilized and shift that paradigm from being a renter's town to a homeowner's town that looks like this town before it gets
yep.
gentrified. Would be a very powerful move. It'll be a
And
transformation.
if you own it and maintain it, then you don't have to worry about nobody taking it from you. The real issue is as long as you're paying a mortgage, you really don't own it. But if you pay it off, it then becomes yours, and then you have to maintain it. And what's really, what's really so unfortunate is that some people don't have the proper business sense to learn how to. In other words, they entrust their business in other people's hands. And sometimes the person you entrust, I have a couple. The man paid all the bills. The wife never paid anything. She never paid nothing. So water bills were stacking up. And she called me because the water was turned off. And I was like, did you ever get a water bill? She said, I never paid one. The whole 35 years we was married. So I didn't know nothing about a water bill. Now, he only passed, thank God, about a year ago or 2 years ago. So it wasn't that bad. And we were able to help her. But my point is, we also need to encourage people to learn, even if someone else is taking care of business, know what the business is.
Yeah, couples got to work together.
I mean, you can have a husband that pays all the bills, but you should want to know what those bills are, because God forbid, and vice versa. Know what it is. He might be writing the checks. He might be paying all the bills. Know what it is and be able to maintain. I've never ever lived nowhere with my son or whatever, married, whatever. Never that wasn't able to maintain if it was only me. Because you never know, even being a homeowner, you have tenants, and people found this out during COVID. Even being a homeowner, things can happen. So COVID happened. Homeowners depending on renters to pay their mortgage. Some of them lost their livelihood,
Right.
and some got. There were people. Can I tell you, there were people that income never stopped, that took advantage of not paying their rent because they didn't have to. I have a relative that owns a property where the woman worked for the post office. Never, she didn't, once the COVID and the moratorium, she just stopped paying. And then when you try to go to court, so managing money and being fair, pay who you owe. But at the same time, if you can't, this is going to be so important, because it's going to help people to manage if they want to manage, if they want to save, if they want to increase what's in their pocket, if they want to look up and say, wow, I didn't know I could do this. I didn't know I could have this. I didn't know financial literacy is major. Mental health is major too. Because if your mind's not right, it's hard to manage anything. But financial literacy, so this is going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And at the same time, we might have to incorporate some other things in that. But this this D-Free campaign, the First Lady is spearheading, is going to bless a lot of women and a lot of individuals and a lot of human beings. A lot.
Right. And so I'm so excited that we're launching the program, like Shoshanna said, in January. I'm grateful for the partnership with D-Free, Prudential, who has been great partners to us on a lot of things. Audible, again. And of course, we can't forget our great mayor, right? The reason
That's
why we're
right.
able to do all of these things is Mayor Baraka. And so I'm really grateful for him for being the progressive mayor that he is and being supportive husband that he is, that to allow me to do these type of things. So I just wanted
That's
to make
because he's
sure I
a
mentioned
brilliant
Mayor
man.
Baraka here.
He's a brilliant man, right? Right. First Lady Shoshana, we can say that he's a brilliant man. He's a brilliant leader. And
Absolutely.
only someone who realizes that this is going to be better for the people would never ever stand in the way of the progress. And so First Lady Baraka, he realizes that there's going to be growth, and this is going to be good for the city. It's going to be good for the sisters, because he's holding down the brothers to the best of his ability. And
Right.
whatever they
He's
don't do
actually holding them down right now
right
at
now,
the
I
men's
know.
meeting.
That's what I was telling Ed. I said, wait a minute. They normally do switcheroos and all this stuff. I said, I don't know where Jewel and Uma gonna be. I said they might be on the show tonight. They might be on the show tonight, because um First Lady is, if she comes on here and he's with the men, which and just to say this, brother Ed, you already know because you've been to all the men's meetings, and everybody doesn't bite. Everybody doesn't bite. He started out bringing everything to the meetings, everything but put the houses and the land in their face.
Yeah,
And that almost, some of
that's right.
that even, everything. He brought EHG, he brought everything. And so we've got to want this, what did Harriet say? I would have freed more slaves if they knew they were slaves. Some people are still in bondage in their mind and don't realize you can do this. You can
That's right.
have,
That's right.
you can have. Do you want it? Whatever I don't have is only because I didn't go get it, but it's not because I can't have it.
Yeah.
And that's my testimony. But the truth of the matter is, there are people out here that say they want. And then when it's put in front of them, this is the question they ask, where is it? It's right in their face. What are we
Sure
doing?
is.
We're doing so much.
Sure
We
is.
going to the corners, talking to people. We got trucks now with jobs on the truck, taking the truck with the wild truck, work on wheels, riding around the city. I mean, I don't know how much more, you know, I don't know how much more, and there's always more. And this part's going to take care of the sisters. But as we talk on this show, the disciples, and we talk about all of the things that are offered in this city under this leadership, and I didn't just get here, to all of y'all who are tuned in, and Brother Ed and Brother Bobby, I've been here for a minute. I wasn't, I didn't just get here yesterday. So I've seen, worked for 4 mayors, grew up under 5. So I've seen the difference in this city, how it's
Mhm.
changed, how it's evolved, how it
Mhm.
fell, how it's risen, how
Say
it's
that.
really rising. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was a baby watching the rebellion. I don't know much about it. Tanks look like monsters to me. I didn't know nothing about it, but I saw what the city looked like as I grew up and it was trying to be redeveloped.
That's right.
I've seen that. And I also sat through another administration that if you don't raise a child while they're small, so Newark, of course, under one administration, you can't have a baby and then wait till the baby get 8 and try to tell the baby what to do. So for quite a few years, several years, there was really nobody watching the house. And Mayor Baraka was walking around this city when he got elected, and we was finding out things. They were like, how did they do this? Nobody knew this was happening. Houses being built on land with no permits. I mean, it was just amazing. Nobody watching the house. So his job, not only to close the debt, the deficit, but then he had to come in and do a
Had to
whole bunch
clean
of
up.
other housekeeping.
Yeah, had to clean up.
You know, clean up, put stuff back together, put people back to work that have been taken out of work. And I watched all of this from sitting behind a desk. And prior to that, being an aide. So when people want to talk about what's going on in this city, there's always progress. It's just that if you don't want to be a part of the solution, then that means you are surely a part of the problem. Because we should all be doing what First Lady's doing, trying to find more solutions to help our people. And if we find something that we think is going to help them or resolve some of their issues, and it's a proven fact because the D-Free campaign is a proven campaign. It's not something that just somebody dropped out the sky and we go. It is there's evidence, there's data from this campaign that has assisted and helped. So people have been able to gain not just monetary value, but monetary, but financial, to become financially literate, so that they know what to do with their money. We would go out. I bet you today there were so many people standing in line buying, spending money. Farrakhan said instead of having a Black Friday, y'all remember what he said? How much money do we spend in our community on stuff that's not even? Well, don't get me started on that one. That's another conversation. But yeah, and I
But
guess I'm on
look,
a roll.
it's not off point. That is not off point.
I
You got
know
to
it's
shout out.
not,
You got to shout
but
out by the.
that's one of my first. But we spend money on stuff that's not even necessary just because we can. And some people are not financially set to be able to do that. And then they'll come in as Baba for $200 to help pay their rent, or $15 for gas. Or do you know where I can get some food? When we really got to help our younger sisters. We really got to. Our baby sisters. And at some point, First Lady, I'm hoping that because West Side at one time was doing a financial literacy piece. They were helping the kids open up bank accounts and that type of stuff. I think they had a little bank over there. I don't know that they're still doing that, but those things are so important, even with our youth.
Yeah.
Because they watch what we do and they emulate that. They see us out here standing in line. They want us to say, I'm guilty of it. My son was 6 years old, wanted me to go stand in line for some sneakers. I did it 1 year, never did it again. And then stand in line. That's what am I doing out here? What in the world? So anyway, we want you to stand in line to learn how to get that money and save it and do what we're supposed to do with it.
Mhm. Yes.
Shoshanna, what else do you have, sweetheart, for our show tonight?
I just to just echo what you're saying. We're in the spirit of thankfulness, and I think that's what we're moving in the work and everything that we're doing. Whether First Lady, the way that the mayor moves, the way Council President, Councilwoman Roundtree, the way that we're all doing. This is all about a spirit of thankfulness at a public service. Just really moving the city forward, moving our people forward, and that's it. Leaving people better than where that you found them. And I think that's what we're doing here. We're trying to do with this new initiative and all initiatives, right? And so we do need the people for that. And so we're really excited to really bring this this wonderful women's financial initiative to the city of Newark. It's going to be a game changer. And I'm really excited about that. But I'm really excited for where the future of our city is going, our women, our people, and we 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 have a bright future in front of us, and I'm really excited about that. And so I believe that I'm in a spirit of thankfulness. Was Thanksgiving yesterday or whatever you celebrate, but just really being with your family and holding on to people that love you and support you, and that's what it's all about.
And that's exactly what the mayor was saying today on his live. I think I opened up with saying that yesterday is a day that was set aside for Thanksgiving. And of course, we know the particular president that made it a holiday. We also know the stories about the pilgrims, but we don't want to talk about that. But we do want to say that it's so important. I want to ditto what my beloved sister Shoshanna has said, that giving thanks every day we have something to be thankful for, especially if we are alive. I mean, we don't know if we're not. That's another story, but and I don't know what that story is. But while we're alive, we should, and it should be about family. And when people say to me, sometimes I go places, Shoshana, and when they say, I just have to say this, when I'm in certain places, I was given an award by Weekway Hall of Fame, and when I got up in front of the people, and this is the second time I've done that, God just dropped it in my spirit. The whole city of Newark is my family. The whole city of Newark. I mean, people all over, you can be considered your family. But wherever I go, that's my family. And
Right.
and I look at it that way. So I have to have the same compassion for their needs, um, and whatever I can do to fulfill those. So my prayer is that if I feel like the whole city of Newark is my family, I'm hoping that people get back to not just the hood, but the neighborhood, and that we start realizing that. We need to look out for our neighbors, and we need to see how we can help our neighbors and give thanks for having the ability to think, have that thought. Season of Thanksgiving, every season should be a season of giving thanks. And so I pray for each one of our families, um, for you, Shoshana, for First Lady, um, leading this charge. I see my co-host has come on. I don't know. He just celebrated his 65th birthday. I was at his party. Y'all better know he was out there dancing up a storm, Baba. He was
Why,
Man, I
dancing.
why ain't
just got
nobody?
back
Birthday.
in town.
Why ain't
Just
nobody
got
tell
in.
me that? What's up?
It was
What's up with
last
that?
week.
Why
Last
ain't
week.
nobody
And
tell
wait
me?
a minute, he didn't know about it. He
I know
couldn't have
about it. I
told
was
you.
Was a
surprised.
surprise. That's good.
Yeah, he didn't know. And I was trying to get there without him seeing me, because leave it to me to be walking in the door and somebody see my car. And I was like, I'm just gonna wait till he go before I go, because I know I'm gonna run into him. And yeah, he celebrated. And then following that, he's celebrating 29 years of pastoring. So he had a double whammy. Pastor Ali's 65 years of life and 29 years of pastoring. So we sure want to. So you've heard all this stuff. Jonathan's not on to shut us off yet. I don't know who's gonna do it today.
Well, to God be the glory. The
You
wife
got a couple of minutes, right, Ed?
little minification, so forgive me being late.
That's all right. You have some. So the show tonight, we have First Lady Baraka, Lady Linda J. Baraka, and we have Shoshanna Page, and we've been talking about the new fight, not the new, the Winter Village, which is going to open up tomorrow night. You got to go down there past Ali and get one of
That's
them
on
bumper
Orange
cars
Street. Orange Street.
on Mulberry Street. I mean
Mulberry. Okay.
Mulberry Commons. Yeah, you got to go down there and get in the bumper cars. You and Belina Ali got to get in the bumper cars. Got to go down there. Got to get you some of the hot chocolate. And I don't know if Tony's Minnie's going to be there, who's going to be there. But I tell you what, everything they got, we need to support. Because that's another thing, Pastor Ali. We open up stuff and we will drive past our stuff to go to somebody else's stuff. Like we will go past the fish truck to go to Red Lobster on a Saturday.
You're right.
We we will. We will ride past the fish truck and say, you know what, that'll suffice my appetite. Let me help this brother, this guy. If the food is good, and the place
Well,
is
fish
clean.
truck is good. Fish truck is
Fish
good.
truck is good. How many people they went to Red Lobster and sat down and eat when you could have taken your fish sandwich home, And anyway, I'm gonna leave that alone too.
And save
But
the bad experience of service.
hey, Belina Ali, congratulations once
Shout out.
again, Shiro of the year.
Yeah, we got to get you on, Queen Belinda. We got to get you on.
Tell
You've
that
been saying
story.
and in
She got a
addition to
story.
that, she got a hell of a story.
She got
There's
a story. That's
there's
why
a
she's
young
our
woman.
Shiro of the year. She is Shiro of every year. We want you on. Maybe we can bring her on next month to talk about her journey, and that would be 30 minutes all by itself because she need about three months to tell all the stories. But yeah, because she's got a lot of them. And then on top of all it, okay, I don't want to tell it. I'll let her tell it. She did some great stuff. Um, Yes. So we commend her, congratulate her, love her. And Sister Kim, we need you and Sister Ali to make sure I'm gonna send you both this letter because on November 29th, we need to see your face in the place. And any other sisters that are interested or concerned, have an interest, Shoshana, where can they call if they're interested in joining the campaign?
If I'll give my office number. If they're interested in joining the campaign, they
To
can
sign up.
to
I'll get
sign
more
up.
information about it. So, to get more information about it, how you can register for the classes, because it's a 12-week program, a 9-week program,
It's a 12-week program,
12
and
weeks.
so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna give my office line as well as email, and until we get
The
the real
website,
the
and it's a
website up and
12-week
running.
program. Because I won't be back on. We can talk about it, and I can make sure Ed gets the information. We won't be back on this platform until the fourth Friday in December. So we want
This mic
those
is open.
who, yeah, is this November? Yeah.
No, I'm saying the mic is open for you. We get stuff out.
Yeah,
We're
I'll
not
get it to you to get out. But I want to make sure that if there's any sisters that want to take this 12-week, at no cost program, is that correct, Shoshana?
That's right, no
At
cost.
no cost to take 12 weeks to show you how you can work towards becoming a millionaire, be a millionaire, save some money, get the money. It's all based on how to manage your money and to save your money. Is that correct?
That's right. I do believe the workbook is maybe $10, but we're working on that.
Okay.
That's the only piece, but we're working
For $10
on
for
that.
12 weeks of somebody's time to help you. Listen, I need to be in that class. I don't know everything.
Some of us could donate some of those costs too. I mean, so I would be glad to pay for like 10 books for 10 people.
There you
we could
go.
do that.
I
That's
got
why
his
we need our
number.
incredible partners like you, Zaid, to be
I
there
got
with
his
us and
number,
stand
so
in the
we'll
gap.
make sure, First Lady, that he's we'll
Thank you
make
for that.
sure.
So
Thank you for that.
go ahead, give your number, your contact information, Shoshana. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
my
try to put that out
office line is 973-424-1809, and our
there.
email address, that's 973-424-1809. And my email address, if you have any questions, is pages, PAGES, at ci.newark.nj.us. Again, that's pages as in PAGES at ci.newark.nj.us.
Okay. All right. All right. Now let me ask you something. Now I'm gonna give this to my sister Roundtree. And I want to see it as being a parallel development. Tell everybody, the isn't the Kruger Mansion finally back open and now fully operational?
Oh, let's
Tell us.
get the name right. It's Kruger Scott. Do not
Yes.
leave my mother's name out.
Well, I
Let's be
understand.
clear.
Yes,
Kruger
ma'am.
built it, and the black woman was the third owner of it, okay? And trained a
Yes,
whole bunch of women how
yes,
to
it did.
sustain themselves by maintaining a trade that would help them beautify our sisters or make their own money. We will be doing the grand opening sometime in early spring. But yes, it is opening. I gave the first event there in June 24th. I did a legacy brunch there outside. The mayor was there, LaMonica. I did something. My mother's birthday is June 20th. So I wanted the first event to be a scholarship event. So we did it outside because we had like 200 people. And it was called the Madam Louise Scott Legacy Brunch. We gave out 5 scholarships. We'll be doing it again next June. There's 2 rooms there that are library that are in honor of my mom, it's the Louise Scott Library. But I have become an intricate part of seeing what goes on there because it is important that the legacy, of course, Avi Tellius is the developer who did the property to be developed and rehab the mansion and built the apartments in the back. And yes, it's open. It's not open when I say okay, there's still space available for rent. Um, but we will be. There's a young sister in there named Keita, and she's doing open mic at the end of the month. But she's a chef, so she caters. Then there's Mawa, who has a theater downstairs called the Cry Out Cave. So we're gonna have to bring Baba there to do some spoken word. Some folks to do some spoken word in the basement. There's going to be a shop opened in honor of my mom. So yes, the God has done some great things. And offline, I'll like talk about how we got to where we are now. But I just thank God. There's one thing I wanted to happen. I wanted it, whatever was going to happen with it, I wanted it to happen under this administration. It had been sitting long enough,
Long enough. You
and people
absolutely.
were calling me saying, Roundtree, why didn't you tell me? We would have helped you. Let me explain something. Why would I have to call you when you've been riding by the property for 20 years watching it? Y'all, and I wasn't hard to find. Everybody knew where I was. I was at City Hall. So, you know, I'm just thankful now that not only is my mother's legacy a part of what is going on there, but that it's back open again, which is more important than anything. And that's one thing I asked God. I said, God, before I close my eyes for the final time, you know, please let the house live again. And guess what? God heard my prayer, and it probably could have lived a different way, but the point is, it's living.
Mhm.
It's alive,
That's
and
right.
some great things happening. So when you're ready to go, let me know. Let me
Yeah.
know when you're ready to go in. Let me
I
know.
just yeah, I just wanted to, because that's an important. I mean, in the African tradition, women have always dominated our marketplace anyway, right? This is a very African conversation. I want to just bring inject the element of culture, this Baba stuff. Now I'm talking now,
Yes,
right?
sir.
And so I just wanted to inject that just to give another dimension to the fact that there's a reclaiming of the village. I wanted you got another great shout out from another young woman who I'm very proud of, was one of our supporters in New York. Sophia Williams just shouted y'all out on the financial education campaign too.
Ah,
This young sister is one of our rocks coming out of New York that has been dyed in the wool supporting our campaign to free Mumia Abu Jamal. Very
No.
proud of
yes.
very taken to see her comment in the chat and the fact that she's taking the time to chime in along with our
Thank you,
regular
Sophia Williams.
Taylor.
Thank
Yes,
you.
just wanted to
Amazing.
shout outs from all over, right? Well, I tell folks is looking at what we're doing in Newark. You
Oh,
know,
sure.
but
Sure they looking. Even if they don't say nothing.
Whenever we turn it up, folks are paying attention, and it's just healthy to see that shout out. So I wanted to make sure I shared that.
Yes. So a couple of more announcements. On December 5th, the mayor's Christmas tree lighting will be taking place at City Hall. On December 12th, there will be a menorah lighting, but also on December 12th, at Good Neighbor Baptist Church, which I've never done it there before. It will be our 10th annual memorial service for families of victims of violence. You know, a lot of times mothers and grandmothers do their best to raise their children, and sometimes children just want to walk the way they want to walk. And so these mothers and these grandmothers need to know, and sisters, brothers, uncles, aunties, grandparents, and people still love them. So we, for 9 years, I created a tribute, a service for the mayor to come. And since he can't make every memorial service for every victim of violence, this is the ones that do show up. It's a way for him to be able to give his words of his express, what he likes. So it's like one big memorial service, but I don't have it. It's not no sad service because, of course, I have someone from the Muslim community.
It's a powerful one. I've been to some
Yes.
of them. Now, how
Yep.
many years is that? How many years in are we with that now?
10. The reason why I'm at 10 is because the mayor came in July of 2014. So when I got this position, Baba, I was like, okay, what is this? God help me. And God said, unite. So, of course, I started Unite the Faith Leaders. But then he wanted to create a critical response unit. And so I was already going to the hospitals and so forth and so on. So that went another way. Now you have the Office of Violence Prevention, which does all of that. But when I was going to the hospitals and I was going to, sometimes they would say, in the beginning, they used to say, well, where's the mayor? Where's the mayor? Everybody wants the mayor when their son gets shot or whatever the case might be. So it got to the point where they started getting used to me coming because they knew if I came, I was coming on his behalf. And so in December, I think in October, I gave my first breakfast of 2014. I didn't wait a year to plan anything. That's why I'm at 10, because in October 2014, I did the breakfast. And December of 2014, I gave the first service for a memorial for victims of violence. And every family that I had seen or that had experienced losing a loved one to violence or of some sort of tragedy, I would send them a letter, have him send a letter, and I would do a flyer and invite them. And then I would get the funeral homes. I want to thank Cotton, Perry's, and Wiggums. I would reach out to them because they do the services for them to give something back to these families. So the first year I got a bunch of gift cards, and every family that showed up got a gift card. Cal Wiggum one year, for two or 3 years, gave plates with a setting and with the person's name on it. So they could put a plate setting for their loved one at the table, even if she would give out gold plates. So this was flowers for everybody. I have Cotton and Perry's give flowers for everybody. Every family member got a rose. The mothers got a bunch of roses, and this is after somebody sang, danced, and gave a word, not a preach word. Just the mayor would be the speaker, but I would have a Muslim words of comfort, and everybody can't speak to these crowds because you might say the wrong thing and have people get up and walk out. So I would get maybe Imam Haqq or someone who's used to dealing with that, and that's how we put it together. So everything I did, I started the year he came into office. I didn't wait a year to put these events together. So I'm 10 years with the office. I mean, with this service, and 10 years doing the mayor's interfaith breakfast. So that's where we are. And this year, it's December 12th. It's going to be at my church. I've never, ever had it at Good Neighbor. I did it at St. Benedict's the first year. The second year, I did it in the West Ward, and I moved it all around. But this year, I'm bringing it to Good Neighbor at 100 Chancellor Avenue, Newark, New Jersey. And then maybe we'll go to the Masjid next year, or either a Catholic church. But I want people to feel comfortable, be diverse, and move everything around so everybody feels included. And you want to make it convenient where people have a place to park. And this year, I'm going to serve dinner. They can grab and go, or they can stay and eat. It's more than likely I'm going to have a grab and go. Maybe some macaroni and cheese, chicken, stuff that we shouldn't be eating. Maybe I'll just do salad and grilled chicken. That's healthy. That's healthy. But yeah, we're going to serve a little dinner for them to grab and go. So December 12th, that will be the office, the memorial service for victims of violence.
Yeah,
We have so much going on. December 16th, I'm doing a multicultural Bridging the Gap event at City Hall in the Rotunda from 12 to 3. From 2 to 3, I have a multicultural concert. We have 4 different cultures that will be coming together spiritually to do. I have an African presentation, a Haitian presentation, a Brazilian presentation, and I think there are 2 more that I've brought together from 2 to 3 that will do a musical collaboration. But it's a cultural bridging the gap holiday celebration. That's on December 16th. And I could use a whole hour just talking about what we're doing. But that's enough of that. We went to December 16th. And anything else I'll send you to announce during the course of the month. But I'll start with Winter Village. And once again, we miss our dear brother, Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad, and we love him. I want to wish Pastor Tammy Copeland a happy first anniversary. She'll be celebrating her first anniversary in ministry. I want to thank all of my Muslim brothers and sisters for their unwavering support. The League of Muslim Voters has a Pearls and Jeans event coming up December 1st. If you want more information about that, you can call my office because I do have the flyer for that. And I think I need to back up and let y'all.
Yeah, have you had a chance to work with CARE has just moved their office to Newark. They were in Central Jersey.
I know.
Yeah, they just moved in. Have you had a chance to interact with them? They had a gala a minute ago. I got my schedule mixed
I
up.
know. I missed it. I missed
Yeah,
it.
but, they do.
You
They do
talking about Alfred? You talking about Imam Alfred Muhammad? I mean,
no. He may be a supporting member, but CARE is a national organization that works around policy and legislative issues, and they
okay.
things on a state by state basis.
He was a legislator. That's why I remember him speaking.
He's in Union County. He came out of the mosque that I started in years ago, right?
You know he used to be. You know he used to be a preacher, right? Did
Yeah,
you know that?
yeah. He came out of
And Bishop
the
Ronald
moment.
Jones used to be a Muslim. Wait a
Yeah,
minute, Pastor Bryant Ali, come on here.
And you know that's right.
That's why when I get up and talk, I say, look, I was taught that to be a good Christian, you got to be a good Muslim, and to be a good Muslim, you got to be a good Christian. Oh Lord.
That is definitely true, though. But yeah, but they just moved into Newark, and they have been doing some. They're like the ACLU for the Islamic community. That's
so listen, Shoshanna Page. She finally did, but we ain't even get a chance to tell them goodbye. We just kept on talking. I guess they was like, okay, I guess we're done. Okay, so listen, I guess Ali can carry you all on for the next hour, right? Pastor Ali?
Well, we don't have an hour. We got 10 minutes.
Oh. Who y'all got coming up?
We didn't hear him. Say
who's your next guest?
Who do you have? Pop English is. Who do you have coming on next?
Not till 7:30.
Oh, okay.
Well, she's trying to pop in now. We were worried about her getting on. She was having some issues. She's trying to get on now. This is Toni Erwin trying to get on now. Her nephew was one of the cases that we're working with in Jersey City, right? Toni, how you feeling? There you go. She's
yeah, I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, I understand you had a little evening challenge. Right?
Yes. Actually, it was us getting ready for Drew's celebration. We were locked out of that building.
Well, let's just jump right into it, right? Because and we'll let you have the rest of your evening, right? Let me just welcome.
So Zaid, let's finish out with the disciples, and we can move into Toni, so they can, if they need to leave, we let them leave, but they're more than welcome to stay if they want to stay. But we want to finish out with the disciples, and if they got any final announcements. I know we didn't get to talk to brother Pastor Ali, but we definitely want to say happy birthday and congratulations to my brother on making 65.
Oh man, a lot of us don't.
And we can't say how much we love you, brother. We ain't there to put hands on you, but we love you, man, and appreciate God for keeping you and bringing you through the journey you went through, brother.
You know the journey. Ed, you saw it firsthand. I'm grateful. And during the season, every day is a day of Thanksgiving for me. And I'm just glad I was able to get on. Like I said, me and the wife, I was traveling. Just got back in, and it's been a long day. So I'm back out, and I'm glad I just was able to chime in. And I'll catch you next month, Lord will.
Yep, absolutely, my brother. So
hey, check your texts and email because I got something for you on the other front.
All right.
All right. And Rountree.
Love you.
Yes.
All right. You got any final announcements? Just want to say, great show tonight. Thank you.
Yeah, a phenomenal show. I'm just excited that the Lord let me be a part of such an awesome group. And of course, we're going to have phenomenal guests on because we're at the stage now where it's been the three of us for many, 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 many years. It's been the three of us. Now, actually, we should be inviting other people so people can see that it's more than just us that we're connected to. Right?
Yeah, listen, Rountree. I'm just here to be y'all producer. Whatever y'all want to do, y'all are disciples. Y'all are mighty disciples now. Y'all can do anything y'all want to do. So
bless your heart.
I'm here to organize and give y'all the support y'all need. Y'all just tell me what y'all want to do. We'll make it happen.
All right, we appreciate that, brother Ed.
All right,
our sister, be blessed.
All right, brother. Peace.
All right. Peace.
I love y'all.
All right.
Toni Erwin, God bless you. Have a good day.
All right,
God bless you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Right. Same to you. All right, we can transition, brother Zaid.
Yes,
do
sir.
Your introduction, brother.
Yes, sir. We're gonna come. We're glad to have Toni Erwin come on back in and join us. Toni is the aunt of the late Andrew Washington, Drew Washington, as he's well known in his Jersey City community. A young man we lost at the hands of police violence and the mental health crisis a few months ago, and this queen has been at the centerpiece of bringing together those forces in that community that need to be brought together around an issue such as this. So we're always glad to have her with us whenever she's available. This coming Monday would have been this young man's birthday, and this Sunday, she and her family have organized a memorial birthday tribute for Drew that we want to particularly lift up this evening, as well as update us on all that is going on locally in Jersey City around the movement for some real equity and redress on that particular issue. So Toni, welcome back.
Oh, thank you for having me.
It's always my queen. The microphone is always open for the community such as you. So tell us about what's going to happen on Sunday, and then let's have a conversation about this young man again.
Yeah, Sunday, we'll be celebrating the life of Andrew Jerome Washington, affectionately known as Drew. His birthday would have been the 27th, and he would have been 53 years old. We're going to have, we're inviting the community to come out and just celebrate his life. We are planning a biodegradable balloon release. And we have some spoken wordists who are going to come out, and we also have some food and refreshments, and we just want to have fun in honoring Drew's his life, just in the way he enjoyed life himself, because he enjoyed fun, he enjoyed parties. We have a DJ, so I'm trying to make it a very light and fun event because I know that's the kind of event he would have wanted to have.
And now tell us where and when it's going to be.
Yes, it is going to be at 2 p.m. here in Jersey City at All Pros on Virginia Avenue, 53 Virginia. And it's like right on the corner of Martin Luther King and Virginia Avenue in Jersey City. And the time is from 2 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. And we're having our balloon release ceremony. Will be starting about 4:30 when we're getting everyone together. We do have some spoken wordists that will speak prior to. Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. We have a few spoken wordists who are going to speak prior to, and that's pretty much it.
So now for folks tuning in for the first time, right, or not familiar with Drew's story and Drew's case, why don't we just take a few steps back and just review that for a minute? Tell folks about Drew, tell folks about what happened to Drew, and tell folks about what we've done and been trying to do in Jersey City since then and where we're at now.
Right. Well, since the passing of Drew, we have been mobilizing and getting the awareness out because he was in a mental health crisis when he was killed. We had been calling and being advised to call the crisis unit here in Jersey City to come out when your family members have a mental crisis. And that's what we did that Sunday afternoon. But when they came, the ambulance came at first, and then they came with the police officers. And Drew was in his own home by himself. He just said he didn't want to open the door, and he wasn't opening the door for them. And this wasn't the first time they came because they had came to the house the day before. And, that day he was outside, and we had asked, I said, he's not himself. He's, going into a psychosis because he has bipolar. He's bipolar and schizophrenia. So we were saying he's off. I don't know if it's the medication, but he really needs to go in the hospital and be evaluated. So the police just, at that time, Drew was sitting on his porch, and they said, well, he seems more agitated because we're here than any harm to anyone. So we're not going to do anything. And I said, but he needs to, go. So the next day, maybe two of the officers that came the prior day, they came. But this time when they came with the ambulance and the police, they were more, I guess, being more aggressive. He was in his home and they kept telling him to open the door. He said, no, he's not opening. It escalated to the EMTs calling, and I'm not sure why. We were outside the house at the time, and we were telling them he's harmless. We would like to speak to him. We're more afraid of him hurting himself than him hurting anyone else because no one's in the house with him. He's by himself. And as we were requesting that he, that we'll talk to him, never mind, we'll just leave him. They're like, no. But then they called the SWAT team, the ESU department, and they came. And we're like, why are you calling like the SWAT? Like these guys with rifles are jumping out of black cars to come to the house when he's just in his home alone saying, leave me alone, go away. But they came, and as time went on, they bust in, broke down the door, and then they say he picked up a knife, so they shot and killed him. And what was the oddest thing? It was two officers. One officer tased him, and one officer shot him with the gun, with the rifle. And I can't understand. And we're still trying to figure out why would one officer think it was okay to tase, and another officer think it was all right to shoot.
Right. That's that was just right. And then and why don't you introduce Denise coming on in, because this is Denise's first time with us on the platform. She just joined you. Introduce Denise and we'll bring her into the conversation.
Yes, and my sister Denise Davis, she's here. She does a lot. We've been going and mobilizing at City Hall because unbeknownst to us before, there was a what would I say? What was it called? They had a protocol for the police that was already voted on in Jersey City from our council, but it wasn't in place for the mental
protocol
health.
with money allocated toward that protocol. Am I right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And my sister Denise will speak a little bit more about that. Her name is Denise Davis.
Good evening.
Come on in, Denise. I'm good to see you. Good to see you, boy. Right. Welcome to All Politics Are Local for the first time, and it won't be the last time, right? I know you're ready to jump on in and get at it, just like you. Both of these sisters are rough on the streets. I love these sisters on the streets. And by the way, y'all thought about coming CP time? Ain't gonna happen. Don't work. Don't do that. They start on time. I'm so proud. Yeah. So come on in and jump on in this, Denise, and let's talk about Drew a little more on what y'all doing and what y'all are facing and struggling with in Jersey City. Come on in.
Okay, well, pardon us for the tardiness, but we were just finalizing cleaning up because the establishment we're hosting the party is at our family's establishment. So we hadn't really been in there for 4 years. So we're doing that. My apologies.
Yes,
but as Toni was saying about Drew and the incident, which concerned me the most, and she didn't say, is that Drew was released from the crisis center. Maybe what was it? 7 days.
Yeah, a week.
Mm-hmm. So we were calling along that time before they even arrived. We had been contacting them. So, and he also was shot in that apartment in 2012, Toni?
2012, yes, April of 2012.
There's a history. There's a history of engagement with the mental health and the emergency response supports from Jersey City with Drew's home and a familiarity with his history. So he didn't come out of the sky. This was no random thing. Given that history, you would think there would be an informed approach to how to address it. Y'all go ahead and finish telling the story.
I'll get back to, right after Drew was murdered, the city council voted in this award to Jersey City Medical Center Crisis Center to award them $4 million. I fought and I got it taken down right before the holidays. What date was that, Toni? The 18th? November 18th?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving Day, I got so I voted down. I was meeting with the community groups. I was meeting with Jersey City Together and everything else, because when they voted down the award, we were supposed to get together and we're mobilizing to get community and the some advocates together to get another RFP, a proposal set up for the mobile response team. I received the email, long story, the email yesterday, Thanksgiving. Jersey City Police Department is going to be awarded $2 million for this Tomahawk Strategic Solutions. So behind the scenes, they're doing this and putting it on the table for the agenda for the city council. So I'm going to be back battling. And what I'm concerned about is the fact that they mobilized the same Tomahawk Strategic Solutions in 2020. Okay. And then for some reason was placed on hold. But my concern was when we were talking about the Jersey City Medical Center Crisis Center, the one thing we didn't see, and they still haven't done, is work with, and I'm not looking for the police to come in, but de-escalation training, they don't have it. And I, social worker or someone else, before that incident of the police department arriving, I know they had the Arrive Together program that they voted down, they didn't want. And this program that they did have, still they have the same type of setup. And what I realized as I was going to the council meetings, the Medical Center, Mobile Crisis Center was doing absolutely nothing in regards to people who really had a mental episode. They would call the police, but we weren't aware of that. Know all this as I'm listening to this. So I'm in a battle because
they have been impaneled and empowered to be the responders, not the police. Is that right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I feel that we need, as we're talking about in the committee, slow down a minute, as we're talking about in the committee, Jersey City Together, there's a group, And they put an RFP together and they spoke about that. And I've read about it, where basically you start off with that phone call with the clinician and a social worker, de-escalator. And they arrive together. They have those three. They have the police officer, not dressed in the police uniform, not an unmarked car, but does not go up. He waits and he listens as the de-escalator and the clinician assess the situation. So we're talking about with the new program to do something like that. Because basically, once again, they're trying to have the police who claim they're trained in the crisis intervention training, and it doesn't train for mentally ill. The de-escalation for a criminal or it's not trained for people in crisis. I see it.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, and this is something we haven't had a chance to talk about, but it's something that should have happened that I'm going to give my last dollar, probably hasn't happened. Have you heard from the Attorney General's office in terms of their own investigation about what happened to Drew at all since the incident?
Tony, you would know that.
Have we heard once in the beginning? We received a phone call. I received a phone call. They just asked if there were any more witnesses or anything else we would like to include, but this was back in the beginning of October.
So you have not been it's just what's the word I want to use, Ed? Give me the legal word where you're interviewing somebody in an investigation. That you haven't been, no one has questioned you, huh?
Oh, you mean sequestered? No.
Yeah, they haven't really
talked. They asked me questions the day of this incident because I was there outside the house at the time. They asked me that day, but after, no. Yeah. It was just a phone call to see if there was anything anyone would like to add, or is there anyone else that they need to talk to?
And this is why I'm raising this, because we fought. It's right out of this county too, right? Ed, we've had Brittany Timberlake, a freshman senator, Brittany Timberlake, pushed for an independent prosecutors bill several years ago, right? It's a young woman that ain't scared, all right, of the police, right? Who was just elected to the Senate, who's right out of the Essex County area, right? And this bill is supposed to have the Attorney General's office take all county-based investigations whenever someone is killed in police custody or at the hands of the police, and investigate those cases, because county machines tend to be very soft and very liberal about how they handle those things, and police are very rarely held accountable for those kind of situations, right? To give this, a more another degree of authenticity, right? This Attorney General has been very wishy-washy, as far as I'm concerned, right? And as far as I'm concerned, by now, all of you should have been thoroughly questioned about what happened as a part of that investigation. And they shouldn't be so quiet. There should be some ongoing, community shares or outreaches to the community about the progression of an investigation. We don't get none of that from this dude, right? He's trying to make raise some feathers in Patterson, and all he did was bring someone from Staten Island to take over the Patterson Police Department. But in terms of an investigation about what happened and what went wrong,
do you think we're
waiting for the real Attorney General to show up and to honor the law as it's been fought for on these books? Max, I wanted to establish that. Go ahead, y'all.
I asked a question. Do you think, do you feel that we should be more proactive in terms of, because I made phone calls, but I wasn't on the scene with Toni and Lisa. But I feel, should we be more proactive in terms of even going to the office or something in regard to making him more aware, or, like us?
Oh, they're aware.
Something, back when I can't.
Yeah.
Just made the phone calls, but I just feel that they're
And I would love for you to give your insight on this as a lawyer, right? But well, I'll say this, right? I think it would be a good way to establish a record of you trying to initiate the kind of conversation that should be reflective of a full investigation, right? And if you were able to document how you reached out to the office of the attorney general, when are you going to start your investigation? We haven't talked to any of our folks who are on the scene who knew. We haven't nothing has been established about how you're going to engage those of us who were close to the scene when that happened. When is this going to happen? And if we do not get anything back, that's something that needs to be raised, right? So I want y'all to see that this is another layer of institutional, bias that really needs to be addressed. So I just want you to be aware of it, and that brings us back to some of the things that we have been raising, with you in terms of how I've engaged you in our statewide strategy around some additional legal things that we're trying to get in place. I want both of you, and I want this audience to hold 2 dates. We're trying to work out the details, but definitely December 7th. And we'll have that on the call Monday too, Toni and Denise. Y'all can come back on Monday's call too, because I should have more information by then. December 7th is going to be a legislative day of action for the lame duck session to get some of these key bills around police accountability passed. There may be a hearing on December 11th. We're trying to get a confirmation on that because we were pleasantly surprised to hear some rumblings on that front, because just as we went into COVID, we lined up almost 90 people online that testified in support of the CCRB bill, a police accountability bill, right? And only one voice of opposition showed up on that call. And that, of course, was a voice of the police union. And the lame leadership of the Democrats in the legislation pulled the bill, even though we demonstrated overwhelming statewide support for it, because they were afraid to offend the union. Right. So I know there was an interest in going to Trenton. Hold December 7th and 11th, because we might be getting ready to turn it up on that particular front. So I just wanted to establish that for everybody, right? And like I said, we will talk about that more in our statewide meeting coming up on Monday.
So Zaid, let me see if I can ask the sisters a question. And I guess what I would ask is, does the family have an attorney at this point?
Yes.
And so it would seem to me that the attorney should be the one drafting the letter and requesting some sort of input from the AG. Is that happening?
I believe so. I'm not 100%. Like, we get updates here and there.
Okay, Toni, explain the situation, Toni, in terms of Courtney and Gloria.
Right. I'm Andrew's aunt. My sister is his mom, who was his next of kin. So most of the information, it goes to my sister and her daughter. But they're both in California because they didn't live in this area.
So where's the attorney located at?
He's in New Jersey.
So is he actively involved in the case, or
yes? Yes.
So the attorney general is not communicating with your lawyer?
He has communicated with the lawyer. The lawyer has told me he's gotten certain information and things, but they're getting some pushback, like in getting documents for Drew. That was like things from the hospital and things. They're kind of struggling trying to get information to build for their case.
But I know Randy. Excuse me for interrupting. I know Randy stated the one that Davenport.
Randy Davenport.
Yes.
Then Newman, Attorney Newman. I don't know his first name. Randy had spoken about getting basically the camcorder information and that type of thing. That the full camcorder, because we only had that little small footage. which is just a one-sided, sort of edited camcorder, and that's the last thing, because basically I'm not involved in terms of the case. But he did say that he was working on the camcorders. I really don't speak to the attorney. The attorneys have come to our activities, like our marches and everything. So I don't want to overstep my boundary, but I could ask that in regard to that, because I'm concerned. I'm more proactive. I'd be on their backs in terms of, but I have to stand back and see how my niece and my sister want to take it. But I know they were seeking the cameras.
Now let me just say this to you also, and I'm glad you laid out those parameters that you're working with, and given the legal connections and the relationships that and all that, right? Attorney Davenport should know that if ever he needed a platform, a public platform to talk about the case, that he can come. We can definitely make this mic available to him, right? Right. So that's something, and if they show up Sunday, let's make sure we had a conversation Sunday too. Yeah. Because that's something I if I hadn't said that to you before, I should have, right? But that's absolutely front that we've had the lawyers for all of the families that we've worked with over the years come on this platform. Most recently, the lawyer, and he's a good lawyer too, Eric Kleiner, the lawyer for the Bernard Placide Jr. family, right? Who's been on here on this platform with Bernard's mother, another brave young woman I'm very proud of, who's dealing with a lot in Inglewood, and Inglewood has a lot less in terms of resources to work with than what y'all doing in Jersey City. So I just want to commend you both again for how you've been holding your family up, how you have been mobilizing your community. How and Toni, I would love to have that conversation with you. Like, I really don't know. You were being very, very, self-critical. I don't really know, but how to do this or whatever. But then you started telling me all the people and all the stuff you do. I said, baby, you got it right in your hands. You got it right in your hands. You're an educator. You're a grassroots community leader in your own right. You know all the folks that you got right. And it showed up. It shows up when you're in the streets, right? That first vigil was powerful, right? And we need to have a conversation to going into the new year. And this is me on the other side, because I work on two sides of the whole question of police violence. There's the side of accountability, then there's a side of putting in place, programs and platforms to help address the conditions that we need to address in our community. And we had on the work I do for Equal Justice USA. Equal Justice manages our statewide coalition of community-based violence intervention programs. We're really trying to roll out and develop our Faith in the Trenches program, getting more clergy involved and having clergy be a clearinghouse for leading these community conversations about just what does it mean for us to be able to develop community-led emergency response teams to mental health crises. We can do that, and they can help provide those spaces and facilitate those conversations. The two clergy folks who we just had on have done a lot of that in Newark already, right? So we're trying to figure out how to build that out on the statewide side. So I want to absolutely talk to you also about the clergy that has stayed with you on the case so far, because the clergy that turned up at that first vigil was powerful. It was good to see, and that was how it should have looked.
Yes.
It's exactly how it should look. Now, the question of keeping our folks together around these things is always an organizing challenge. It just is, right? Because we tend to be episodic, unfortunately, in how we organize. We have to start being more long range and more fully developed and more mature in how we organize. But that's the piece that we have to work on, and that's a place that it's another space for y'all to come. And that's I've talked about that to you, but we go into the new year, we're definitely going to be more intentional about faith in the trenches, right? And trying to get more clergy voices up front, because that broadens our base. That broadens our community base when our faith leaders are being heard and are bringing their congregational spaces with them into these conversations. I just wanted to share that with y'all as well. So, Now, in terms of any and now, in anticipation of Sunday and Monday and other things coming up, is there anything else that we need to be hearing about, or that you want us to know about, what's happening in Jersey City?
Yes, Denise, tell them about the thing about the 2.5 million.
Well, I spoke about the 2.5. I'm once again, Jersey City Together is the group, and they're interfaith group. They're the mental health side of it. The Jersey City Together has a variety of different churches that are involved in the community. They have health care. They have even like the CCRB type of committees, and they're mobile.
A couple years ago, they sure did.
Okay, they going to fight again on the 29th. We have to go back to the city hall because it's on the table, and once again I have to get speakers to speak, and possibly I'll be going Monday because we can't ask questions on Monday at the caucus. We can only give council members questions to ask for us, and since it was just hopped up for us, to stop it, I have to figure out how I can get in on Monday to ask questions, or we'll speak on Thursday to halt this $2.1 million. And you know what's really hurtful is the previous time we went in, and this police chief, which we've asked to speak to in regard to the mobile crisis response thing, he came in 2 weeks ago, and the week before that, getting on the table money for bullets. The same week we're in there fighting for the crisis center and the death of Drew, he went in, and the time I was there, when our resolution was voted on, he was there earlier in the day, that evening, and got the bullets that he wanted. And now this past week, now he has his Tomahawk strategic solution that they're giving this $2.1 million to.
That's an active shooter program, and every city should have one anyway. So I don't know where exactly stuff is coming from.
Tomahawk strategic solution. A retired police in New York. And the de-escalation in 2020 had to do with, I guess, the protesting during George Floyd, different things. It's not a de-escalation on a mental health crisis or dementia person who may be in crisis, or a teenager in crisis. This is a crisis intervention when you're talking about crisis, people fighting in the street or something like that, or de-escalating armed person in an apartment, or somewhere. It doesn't pinpoint what our community is suffering with in terms of their crises, that they don't need police to come to de-escalate, because the only thing they know is shoot when they can't control. That's my opinion. Okay, if they can't end it in a certain amount of minutes. I see in New York they can let people they de-escalate with people with guns and everything else, but somebody in a crisis state, they're ready to end their lives very quickly.
Yeah. That's the reason why kids say Black Lives Matter, because they haven't mattered. And we got to do whatever's necessary to make them matter. Let me ask you this. Now, you've gotten support on the city council front from a young man who came out of those protests in the George Floyd summer, and Frank Gilmore. Has there been any more supportive voices emerge locally for what you're doing around you?
Not really, but I have the three Gilmore, Solomon. These are the councilmen: Gilmore, Solomon, and I think it's Rivera are going to be on this committee, the mental health, the crisis committee that we're trying to mobilize for the RFP. But what we're trying to do with this is we're trying not to put this committee into like just this one-time program, like we're putting this committee together just to put the this RFP together. We want to get an actual committee mandated by the mayor or whatever, but it's at least established, that's outside of the RFP, that they can come in and sort of work together with the city as a separate entity, not something that's controlled by the mayor. I mean, they can have the council people on it, but the people that are that on the committee are advocates or from the community clergymen, so those two things that are RFP together. And that's at least keep this with for this Tomahawk program because he's still trying to pull himself away from the crisis intervention that's going on in Jersey City. So
Yeah,
it's more than just it's mental health, but just people in general in the community that we need social workers in the police station. We need, besides policemen there, they need to use some of that safety net money that they have for hiring staff that work with mental health, people in crises, families in crises.
one of the
So
and I sent a letter to the city council on behalf of Newark Communities for Accountable Policing a few weeks ago as well, and I want to just re-inject that back into the conversation. Is that there is a need in the development of these programs too to make sure that our people are properly represented in them. Right?
thank you.
We don't want strangers in our community who are not, and this is the language that's important to use, who are not culturally competent
Thank
to
you.
talk to our folks, right? If the
Mhm.
if Jersey City looks like the folks on this call, the folks who come to those calls should look like folks on this in this community and have that background in their toolbox along with their clinical background, right? In the building out of those kind of programs. So one of the things that we are trying to figure out in the fine tooling of this bill to get state money for the development of these programs is the whole question of not just it being community led, but those strategies being culturally competent, right? And we've got examples, right? We've got examples, got a good examples right here in Newark, right? That we've developed. It's a tough fight, but when you have leadership buy-in, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The whole thing about holding elected officials accountable is as important as holding his police accountable, right? When you have leadership buy-in, you go further in the building out of those kind of strategies, right? And we not only have leadership buy-in, we had visionary leadership who helped bring it all together, right? But other cities are trying to figure out what we've tried to establish in Newark based on not just what we've done, but the results that we have gotten in the process. So there are resources here, right, that can continue to help move the conversations. I just want to restate that's still very much at your disposal, and that's why we've been having these other conversations, in these different statewide spaces to help move that. So yeah, powerful. Very proud of you. So let's restate as we wrap up. Let's restate what's going to happen on Sunday. And Denise, you laid out what's going to happen this week also on Monday and Thursday. Let's restate what's going to the when and the wheres of that, so we can help push that out to our different bases.
Yes. Sunday we're doing a celebration of life for Drew in Jersey City at All Pros. It's on Martin Luther King and Virginia Avenue. The address is 53 Virginia Avenue. It will be starting between 2:30 until 6:30. The ceremony of the balloon releasing and the spoken word, those things start about 3 p.m. and the balloon release is at 4 p.m.
Has anybody done any press for you for Sunday?
No.
Send me the details. I'll get one out tomorrow. As soon as we
Oh.
get off, just shoot it to me in the email. And it doesn't have to be long, right? Just the specifics. If there's anybody you want to lift up in terms of family prominence or community prominence, send me that too, and I'll send something out for you.
Okay.
And so please remind us what's happening on Wednesday and Thursday.
She there?
I think she muted herself.
Excuse me? Is that for me?
Yes, ma'am. I just want you to remind us what's happening.
The caucus and the meeting.
Council, yes.
The caucus meeting is at 4. That's just for us. I have to, tomorrow I'm going on a Gilmore's caucus meeting, and I'll give questions, talk to his, he's the only one that has the open caucus meeting before the agenda. So I'm going to try to mobilize some people. I text some people to go on that to ask questions that they can ask on Monday. I'll be going there Monday in regard to seeing if we can get questions when they come up the Jersey City Medical Center comes up, to present, I give their case. And then on Thursday, they have where we can actually speak. And there's a certain section within the council meeting where speakers to go up and speak in regard to the situation with the medical center, the Tomahawk. And the reason why I asked Jersey City together to speak for me or speak with me is the fact that they've been working on this for the past 2 years. They put in the RFP 2 years ago that they knocked down.
Okay.
I have group.
Okay. All right. Is anybody from Jersey City together going to be there on Sunday?
Yes.
All right. So
Yes.
that's kind of stuff I want to know, right? The key players, those community voices that you want to lift up, send me all that and I'll draft a release for you right away. Right.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Ed, do you want to close out with another question and of course our ritual question?
Well, I do, but I wanted to ask, where's Mayor Fallop in this whole incident?
Terrible from the beginning.
Oh, okay, Mayor well, talk about him, but Mayor Phillips' spokeswoman, when they talked about the RFP, her statement, I guess, from City Hall, as I took it, she stated that this, after they awarded this money, so to speak, Jersey City Medical Center, she stated that this money would not help Andrew Drew, would not help the family because he was a man that a phone call was made with a disturbed man with a knife. So anywhere in this country, in the United States, that program would not have saved his life. So in my opinion, that's where stood in regard to this, that basically he was meant to die because he had that knife. He's still sticking to it was a justified shooting. I mean, there's that, and even this program that was made up came from the mayor, just like this Tomahawk that they just jumped in and decided to do. If they think I was going to be happy, they gave us this 0 to 8 that I wasn't going to come back. This is all Philip under the undercut. I understand the game. So even the picture that they put in the paper with my nephew with the knife, designated from the Jersey Journal, just to keep the narrative of this deranged man with a knife. So all he's doing is just justifying it with everything he's doing. And then that's my opinion and just how I see how he stood out, even in regard to mental health or anything. There's no support from him, except he said, a Jersey City Medical Center.
Is she breaking up? Is that?
I think it's
okay.
Yeah, but it should just from the top of this whole he's been terrible. He's been terrible. His office has been terrible, and that's sometimes if you don't know what to say, shut up.
Right. Can I just add, like right after Drew was killed, that next morning at 9 a.m. that mayor was on the news. He hadn't spoke to the family. He didn't reach out to anyone, nothing. And he was on the news and made a statement that this shooting was justified because this was a very sick man who attacked the police. He never mentioned that he was in his own home behind his own locked door. None of that. He just said deranged man. So to set the narrative that Drew was walking around with a knife trying to attack police officers, and that's why they shot and killed him.
How about he had dealings with the police? Yes, one dealing with the police when they shot him the first time. And the only reason why Drew had any record is because he was so afraid to go to jail. The way that at that time we didn't have any knowledge of different things. And the attorney talked my sister into, and Drew being afraid, that he went into on probation. Okay, so he doesn't have a police record, no police record, nothing.
Yes, the continued criminalizing of our people in the process of those things, and that's why we have these conversations to lift up not just what happened in the community's fight for justice, but for the humanity of our loved ones who we lost. Right. So that's why I always start out with y'all talking about you, telling us about who he was, how he lived, right, and how he related to his own community. Those kind of things are important. In terms of my own press criticism, the only decent treatment of what happened since then was this arm called the Hudson County View. Mainstream press has been terrible on this. Other than there was one criticism of that public safety officer that called for his resignation. That was important, right? But the press has been, for the most part, has been following the line of the mayor's office, and that has not at all been a just, equitable, or an informing line at all. It's been terrible. It's been a part of the problem.
And we want better community. That's the other thing. I feel what we experience, no one deserves this treatment. And it's not just about you, it's ongoing. I had 2 other incidents after the shooting in the same type of things where I was present when it was happening, in the same scenario. Guns going into, one with someone with a dementia and one with the teenager having a problem. And I see in our community, we need a voice, because our community is in crisis, and and they're not criminals. They are in pain.
Yeah. Absolutely. Ed, you're muted. I know you're trying to.
Let me also ask. You all know that the former Governor McGreevey is running for mayor of Jersey City. He's made that announcement publicly, and he seems to bring a lot of press with him when he does that. Has the attorney or anyone from the family reached out to McGreevey to see if you all can engage his support, and particularly his political connections?
You know, when you say that, McGreevey was at Drew's funeral, and we've been lax in this because he did say he wanted to do something in Drew's name. Well, that's what he had spoken to us about, but we never heard from his office. So I need to follow up on that, because he did speak to us at the funeral, before the service.
I spoke, Governor McGreevey also, they're having a mental health, I think, conference in March for the reentry program, but he did put it in the name of Andrew Jerome Washington.
He has done some work on for reentry support in recent years. He's got his own 501c3 to that effect. We've pushed him in some instances, and he's been a pleasant voice in others. But I'm glad you lifted him up in this conversation there, because he definitely belongs.
Thank you.
And one of the reasons I'm specifically saying that is because, as you know, it has been the Black community that has really welcomed him back into this current space that he's in, right? And particularly in Jersey City, having given him an opportunity not only to make a living, and I might say a real good living in Jersey City, and now to be able to step back into the mayoralship. It would seem to me that if you all have, and I'm saying your council, has some sort of connection to him, there ought to be a way to fully engage him, since he said that, right? Have him out there, use his press in order to bring the kind of publicity to bear along with the community organizing, right? Because it doesn't mean anything if it's not organizing legally and organizing the community. I mean, when you look at the work that has been done around all those cases that Reverend Sharpton brings, it is legal and community, right? Because if you're not doing that, because this begs for a legal response. And at this very moment, whoever the civil rights attorney is for the family, he has to be out front with the community. And of course, if we can engage those people who have said, like McGreevey, that he would be there to support and help the family, well, we need to hold him to that, right? And he understands how government works. He understands how law works, and he was once the most powerful man in the state. So he understands how all of that works, and we ought not try and go this road by ourselves. We ought to pull all of our friends and all of our supporters in. And if we're not doing that, then it becomes shame on us, because at the end of the day, folks have to say, well, I didn't know you really needed me there. Well, someone should be on the phone now, sending them an email, inviting them to tomorrow's event. Hey, man, we'd love to have you there, right? And trust me, his campaign manager would see it as a plus.
Yes.
They would say, wow, we didn't know, but we definitely would. I mean, we may only have 15, 20 minutes, but if he shows up, the press shows up with him. And then someone can say what needs to be said in regards to where is the attorney general, right, in this matter. And you have to continue to put that pressure to bear.
That's right.
That pressure has to stay on, which is what Zaid is talking about. But you've got to call all of the people who got power to the forefront, right? All of those people have to be called to the forefront because remember, these folks need votes in order to be elected. And if they're not representing the folks properly, then they ought not get our votes. And right now, McGreevy need the support of the Greenville. He needs the support of the Black community, right?
Yeah.
And we need to state it clearly. The Black community needs your support. We gave you support, sir, in order for you to come in and do your drug reentry program. Right. Jersey City gave you a home. This man lives in Plainfield, right?
That's
so.
They say he lives in Jersey City.
He lives in Jersey City now.
Well, he couldn't have been mayor unless he has an address here.
Right. Yeah. He probably can afford to have properties in both towns.
Yeah, because when he was caught in that incident, him and his partner lived in Plainfield. And then of course he got a job in Jersey City working for the administration. And of course, you're right. In order to run for mayor, he has to have a location and address. Yeah. So, as a resident of Jersey City, right, and as someone who's going to need the Black vote, sir, we'd like to make sure that we have your support front and center. Can we count on you? I mean, that's that. They remember politicians don't have any qualms about asking the Black community, can they count on us?
That's right. That's right.
We ought to ask, well, can we count on you?
That's right. That's right. Where is this on your agenda?
Right.
Right.
And so we know you announced last week, right? To run for mayor. Well, sir, we'd like to make sure that we have you supporting us. And then you all need to tell the Black community that.
That's right.
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 And if he's not supporting us, then we ought to say that too. We ought to say, well, we don't, he said that, but we haven't seen him out here. Right, call them out. Put pressure on them. We've got to make these folks come before our people and not say you support us but don't show up.
Right.
So I mean that would be one of the things that I would suggest in terms of making sure that whomever your civil rights lawyer is, that he's out front and really just study some of the cases. I mean, you've never seen Reverend Sharpton not go out there without his attorney out front, without them filing all of the proper paperwork and press. I mean, it's got to be constant, right? Because with our people, out of sight is out of mind. And we've got to keep it in front of the people.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things we do here, as Zaid like to call it, we're probably the only real drum in the community, right? That allow our brothers and sisters on whatever front they want to come and have a full conversation and dialogue about the matter. And so if there's any advice we can give, that's what we would suggest. And we wouldn't have any qualms about Zaid, we wouldn't have any qualms about issuing an invite to McGreevy.
That's right. That's right.
Right, to have a conversation.
Local. That's right.
Right.
That's right.
You running for mayor in Jersey City, we'd like to know where you are in regards to this family.
But can I ask a question?
Sure.
Where would we stand? Because also we have about 5 or 6 people in Jersey City that are running for this mayoral seat. A few of them now, most of them all speak about mental health because they know it's pretty much a very hot topic in Jersey City because of the efforts that we've been making. Would we invite more than one to come to speak just to see what their platform is, or should we just support one?
But y'all have to make that determination, right? Because y'all have a better sense of who you find trustworthy, on that front. I mean, at some point, y'all got enough finesse as organizers. Y'all can host your own debate, have them all stand up there and make their own cases, and let the community decide for themselves who they want to ride with. But y'all know y'all know your local folks better, right?
Yes.
Those of us who are not from in town, right? I would tell you, those who have been sincere and have track records that you feel better about. I would start there, but you have to assess that for yourselves.
Okay.
You could have an invitation. It doesn't mean that we support them also, because it's like the concern of the community too, even if they meet there.
About that. And see who shows up, see who's responsible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not saying I'm giving you my vote, but I'm inviting you to the celebration of my nephew's life.
Indeed.
That doesn't say I have to give you my vote now. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, sure.
Women who I find to be very like a Decepticon, sort of in her face, and now she announced that I'm going to send her a little invite also. I'm not.
I would not limit it to one person, right? What I would do is send out an invite to all of the council, send it out to all of the elected officials, right? And invite them all to come. And then you make a determination who you want to give an opportunity to speak. And that could be based on who show up.
I'm on Zoom. Come to the back door.
Right? And that'll be, clearly, your call in terms of how you all do that. Right. But again, and I'm saying I would, whomever the family's civil rights attorney is, that person, I would put him out front, and I would lean heavily on having him help organize this matter in terms of making sure that all the T's and I's are dotted from a legal perspective, so that because remember, everything that's being said is being recorded somewhere, right? Somebody is taking notes somewhere of what politicians say, what the elected politicians are saying, what the family is saying, what the police officers are saying. That information is out there somewhere. And so from your perspective, what y'all want to make sure is that your legal representation is speaking on your behalf.
Yes.
So the last question we have on the show that we ask everybody who's on, and Toni, I believe you've been on before, so you probably know what I'm going to ask. Denise, you haven't been here, so what we normally ask folks who've been on, because we are a political hip hop radio talk show when we're in the studio at Rutgers, we ask everyone, what are they listening to, perhaps in the hip hop community, from the hip hop genre, that may encourage you to keep you going, help you keep moving with the struggle.
What's got you flowing?
Listening to.
You are really asking the wrong person. I'm more of a reader.
It doesn't have to be hip hop. Whoever you're listening to, whatever, your drum is your drum.
I can't even say. I mean, I'm trying to think. Who do I listen to? that is. Oh, I'm trying to think. Some people listen to President Simpson. That's a long time ago. I'm not a rap type of. I'm classical, jazz, Miles Davis.
Okay.
Oh, we can talk.
Yeah, if you listen to something, that helps get through,
we can definitely talk about some of that.
I'm a retired headmistress.
Can I answer for her for one of them?
Go ahead, Toni.
I didn't say it was Eric B. and Rakim. That's one of my favorites also there. I like the old stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Eric B. Rakim was just given an award recently as one of the greatest, MCs ever. So you're right. I mean, you know, a lot. Trust a lot of folks really don't have the ear for what's new today, but they have the ear for what was in the past 50
Let's set
years
it off.
we're starting, right? Because it spoke more consciously to what we were trying to do and where people were trying to go. So
And I also remind everybody too that we're all in the same generation, right? That our generation didn't just birth hip hop, but our generation also brought jazz into the 21st century with its integrity intact, right? Last time I was in a space like we're going to on Sunday, Nard Harper is based in Jersey City. When Nard Harper was Betty Carter's baby drummer, when Betty Carter had him when he was in his late teens, right? That's my generation, that was trained by the greats as they became elders that ultimately would take jazz into the 21st century. So we did that too.
Cool, and the gang from Jersey City. I grew up
in Jersey City. That's right. Oh my God! All right.
they just lost one of their other members.
Yeah. And have roots in the Nation of Islam.
Yeah.
Still do.
But George is the one who died. I had his son Dorian in my class.
Wow.
I feel rap is just poetry, and it's so profound. I'm not into rap because some of the things are a little extreme with the young ladies and the respect. Okay, but it's very deep in terms. I used to tell my students, poetry is profound. It's filled with emotion, filled with meaning. You have to sit and listen. And I love the beat. I think everybody has a rhythm. Whether it's music or jazz.
I want to wind down this discussion because you're both educators, right? It's in some other space I want to, introduce you to professionally, right? My roots are in the Black Panther Party, right? And one of our cubs, his name is Sharif El-Mekki, who's a cub of the Philadelphia chapter of the party. Both of his parents were Philly Panthers. Has an annual Black Educators Conference that is absolutely powerful. I presented that at last week. Ed, check this out. They had me and Baruti presenting at the same time, right? In different spaces instead of stretching us out, right?
Yeah.
Besides that, I'd give it 1,000. A lot of young educators are in that space, and it's one of their particular focuses is trying to create a pipeline for Black men to get into the classroom.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So the Center for Black Education Development, right? I'll send you that too. And that'll be Tony. You send me what you need for the press release. I'll send that back to y'all too for that, right? Because it's another space that y'all would have loved that. Y'all would have loved that, right? And Kafele would say he's shouting out the conference, extraordinary conference, right? And then Kafele is one of our national legends on it. So proud of our brother, right there from Jersey City, right? Right there from Jersey City. Right. So it's, all of this comes full circle. All comes full circle. So, wow, another full session. We appreciate y'all. I'm very proud of both of you. All right. I will see you Sunday. Tony, you shoot me those specifics. I'll shoot out a release right away. Right.
Yes.
If we can get you some press. Right. And we keep doing what we're doing. Justice for Drew, whole Sunday. Thursday, December 7th, December 11th, because we coming.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
All right, Chef. All right. Love, honor, and respect. Happy holidays.
Thank you so much. Good night.
Good night. All right. I hit Rhino up, and Rhino should be coming through.
Yeah. I'm proud of those sisters. This is hard stuff. These things destroy, right? And, these two sisters, like Merlene Hilaire in Inglewood and her twin sister Miriam, right? They've responded, and they have their ups and downs, right? But they responded to what happened to their family, to their loved ones, in a way that's been they have been inspirations in their own right. So I'm very proud of these sisters, man. And they bring the community out. They bring the community out. They know who to ask, they know who to get into space. And because they're so consumed, like sincere people are, with just doing the work, half that they don't even realize what they got going on. You know what I mean? Because that's
But
it's not about
that is
them.
why
It's about
that
what
is
they're doing.
but that's why, Zaid, they've got to add that legal component, right?
Damn right.
Because they've already got the community component, right? And they've got to add that political component,
Yeah.
right? Because these people, right, if left to their own powers, right, will ignore
That's right.
justice for Drew,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
And these two sisters are not doing that. But we've also got to make sure that, while they're busy organizing the community, that we're helping them to get in the spaces that they need with the necessary politically elected officials that are also going to help them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So we've got to make sure that we advise and then helping them do that as well.
And it looks like, I mean, and based on, and you got a better sense of Jersey City than I do, McGreevy is the only one that's got the kind of range.
Yeah.
Right. He stands a good
and,
shot.
And he got the money and support now.
Yeah, he's the likely winner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no one else that has announced that they're running against him at this point. And what I'm saying is that the ground is fertile for them.
Yeah.
Right. And because trust me, them white folks didn't support Greevy when he left the governorship. It was black folks who supported him.
That's right.
When he started that reentry program.
That's right.
So I mean that's what it is. But peace, Rhino.
You muted, Rhino. He's still muted.
Hey,
There you go.
What's good?
Everything good, brother.
All right. How y'all feeling today?
Not bad, beloved. Not bad.
All right.
It's too fire me up because they're strong and they're trying to keep it together. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was over there trying to pull up some info, but because I heard Ed mention earlier about Rakim getting an award. I know this year. I mean, because it's the 50th anniversary, he got awarded a few times in a couple of different areas. Speaking about Rakim, but I know just recently Rakim and Scarface both got awarded the Grand Master Award, which is a new award that's coming from a foundation that Nas, Steve Stout, and Ben Horowitz and his wife have put together. It's called the Paid in Full Foundation. It's kind of like it's similar to what Chuck D and KRS and Dougie Fresh and all of them have been working on with the Hip Hop Alliance, trying to, basically be able to pay off benefits and monies to the pioneers that paved the way for hip hop. So this is a similar thing that Nas and Steve Stout and Ben Horowitz are doing. And one of the things that's part of it, I mean, they have a whole thing where they're doing, like I said, they're doing benefits where, health insurance and things like that for artists, for the pioneer artists. But one of the things was this award ceremony where they have the Grand Master Awards. And so the first recipients of the Grand Master Awards through the Paid in Full Foundation was Rakim Allah and Scarface. They were the first recipients. So yeah.
So what does it? So it provides health insurance, you said?
What they're trying to do, they're trying to provide benefits and monies. They're trying to, basically make sure that the pioneers, the ones who paved the way, are getting paid for what they've done. What they've contributed to the culture. You know what I'm saying? And also making sure that their health insurance is taken care of and all of that as well. Yeah, that's big. That's been a big part of the talk. Like I said, with the Hip Hop Alliance with Chuck D, the health insurance is a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you got these brothers and sisters that pretty much their whole careers they were rapping and doing whatever they were doing in hip hop, didn't have like a job that was connected to benefits or anything like that. And, they just out here. You know what I mean? So, and I know LL also, even with his Rock the Bells Foundation, he's helped out a lot of pioneers. even with their health insurance, their money, and just getting them on board. So this is just another positive thing coming out of hip hop, man. Salute to Nas and Steve Stout and Ben Horwitz.
Right on. Quiet as it's kept.
Mm-hmm.
We still haven't had the definitive Dear Mama Tupac Shakur conversation for the 50th anniversary yet, and I'm still trying to work on some folks, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that Pac was working on that he wanted to see developed for the pioneers of the Black Panther Party. Pac was a cut. Well, that's 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 he's a Shakur,
Yeah.
right? And he saw, how his elders were coming home from prison with nothing. How some of the folks who survived not going to prison were still doing the work in the community. Most of them just didn't, by virtue of how they had to roll, they very rarely were, found themselves in places where they could have basic things that are important to us as we begin to age, right? Like healthcare benefits.
Right.
One of the things that he was quietly, trying to figure out how to bring to fruition for some of his Panther elders, and that was, it's one of the sweet spots in Pac's legacy that hasn't been lifted up yet, but it was definitely there. And so, that's in the professionalization of our young folks who are paying attention to this, wanting to become professional artists, that needs to be built into their professional development. One of the things, and to that point, I'll bring Amiri into this. One of the things that Amiri taught us is Amiri insisted that all artists should also go into education, because it becomes two things immediately. It becomes a way to sustain you with a salary and benefits, and a way for you to drop some seeds to perpetuate the art in a way that you won't have in other spaces, right? So that's it's a serious move that Nas and them are doing. So shout out to them for that.
Yeah, definitely, and it's important, man. I mean, like you said, for those of us that are aging, and and that's the whole thing too. They always try to pinpoint people in hip hop and say that hip hop is a young man's game. It's only a young man's game because you're not focused on the future and the elders, and you're not focused on, you know what I mean, when they get older. You just focused on, what money they can make, what moves they can make right now. You got to focus on their future, and that's coming up now.
But you know what though? I think that is a brilliant idea. That I think everybody who is a part of the hip hop community, if they were to create that fund, but really have everybody sort of pay into it, right?
Right.
What happens is it's almost like group insurance, right? So if everybody, that's why when you're on your job, they have a group insurance policy. They're not paying a lot of money. Everybody pay a little bit of money, but they get these massive benefits, right? Where you can get your health care taken care of. But there's also another piece you could add to it, right? You could create a retirement fund, right?
That's right.
If everybody invests into the retirement fund, when these rappers become, let's say, 59 and a half or become 60, right? They begin to receive payments from that, as opposed to going to strips clubs and throwing out thousands of dollars on the floor, right? You making an investment back into yourself, but you also making an investment, get this, Rhino, into the culture.
Definitely.
Right. Because that's the word they like to use. I'm doing it for the culture, right? So one way you could help the culture is, and you could help all of those elder, hip hop artists, but you can also help the newer artists, right? So you young, you don't need healthcare now. You don't need a pension plan now, right? Nobody sort of thought about that. But if everybody do a little, nobody has to do a lot, right? And sort of like what Haqq talked about, yesterday with the Temple of Hip Hop in Newark, now open and KRS-One teaching high school or teaching teachers, period, how to use hip hop in order to educate young children.
Yeah, and I know a few brothers that and sisters. Purple Haze is one. My man
We've had her on the show.
Jaja Shakur is another one. Tamor Davis is another one. Hakeem Green, my man Venomous, who we've had on the show before. You know, these are all brothers who and sisters who were in hip hop, like steady hard in you know hip hop rhymes and beats and all that, and now they're teachers. You know, they're educators.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's definitely necessary.
Yeah, we had you on last week. We missed you, Rhino. He just dropped a film on phase 2. It was like it's out of sight.
No, remember I was here with you.
Oh, that's right, you was. All right, that's right.
I was here with you.
That's right.
Yeah, we got to get him on again though, because you know Tomorrow can go.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but we need him back on. Definitely. He got me inspired. I just got me another black book to try to go back to some of my drawing and stuff. You know what I mean? But yeah, definitely. We got to get him back on, man. Talk about some more graph because you know, all of us, as far as our circle, you know, because me and Timur, we grew up together. Me and Tan grew up, all of us, you know, and Jerry Gant also. We all grew up together as artists first. We were all graffiti artists first before we, you know, broke off into these other avenues in our lives. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's something that stays in our hearts is that artwork. You know.
So, Rhino, I wanted to ask you. You know, I know you got some things you want to talk about too, but I was curious, right? You know, Haqq was on last week, and you know, did you get an opportunity to hear what you know some of the criticism that Dr. Umar was putting out about where hip hop is right now and what they haven't done?
No, I didn't hear that.
So, excuse me. So, you know, he was talking about, particularly about, you know, some of the things that, you know, some of the wealthier artists haven't created, right? You know, you now have billionaires in hip hop, right? But he asked, you know, he was like, you know, of course you see KRS-One, what he's doing in Newark, you know, working with the mayor's office and all of that. But he was asking, you know, where's the schools, right? You know, since you could now create a charter school, right? You know, so you got billionaires. So where's Jay-Z's charter school? Where's that at, right? Or somebody said, well, where is, you know, where is a healthcare center, right? Where's those things? You know, when you make that kind of money to be able to create some sort of community event, workshops or some sort of community clubs. Where those things at? You know, where Jay-Z come from, where Nas come from, you know, where Naughty by Nature comes from. Everybody come from the dirt. Everybody come from the gutter, right? But everybody moved to private communities, right? So he was asking some of those kinds of questions, right, in terms of that. And you know, Haqq was laying out some of the good things, you know, that hip hop has done. But obviously, yeah, there's you know, and so that's why what Nas is suggesting has to be commended, right? Because he's right about that, right? So not everybody who have given their lives to the hip hop community necessarily became billionaires or millionaires, but they gave their lives to it, and they made major contributions. Should there also be some place for them?
Yeah, you're talking about for the people that they're trying to help.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is a lot of
broader community
hip hop artists didn't necessarily make the billions of dollars, right? Like you didn't make billions, but you dedicated your life to this industry.
Right.
Shouldn't there also be an avenue for you to be able to benefit in the hip hop industry?
Oh, most definitely is, and I feel as long as we have a track record in the culture as far as how long we've been doing it, you know what the activities have been, you know, over the years. Yeah, definitely. I think everybody that contributes to the culture at some level should receive something, you know.
Right. Because I know you probably heard about what T.I. did in Atlanta, where him and his wife built their own apartment building, right? In order to do something about homelessness and particularly to help young kids, right? Young males. He put aside 27 apartments in this building that he had built. 27 apartments, right? He put aside for artists, right? Struggling artists, right? In this building. So, and this is a guy who remembers, I used to be a hip hop artist, man. I used to be struggling, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about how, you know, you damn near homeless while you trying to shop your music, right? While you trying to do your art, while you trying to do your rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
You know, being able to think that and have that kind of futuristic thinking to say, you know, I want to do something to help young artists who were struggling like me, right?
Yeah.
Not give up their art, right? Because think about it. If T.I. had given it up, we'd have missed T.I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the case with all of our greats. You know what I
Right.
mean? If they gave up at some point, we would never have them.
Right.
You know, so it was, you know, yeah, you want to encourage them to keep going,
Right.
keep doing what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Most definitely, yeah, man. Yeah, that's important, man. We need that. We need everybody to be acknowledged. You know,
That's right.
making moves for the community.
That's
You know,
why. That's why
again,
when they,
everybody that I named, everybody that's become who was a rapper once and then became an
yeah,
educator, like that's that kind of a thing. You
that's
know what
right.
I mean? They got to be acknowledged too.
Right. Right. I don't think that. That's why when people say they're doing it for the culture, you know, I don't think you should leave out the people who don't have those big names, right?
Right.
I
Right.
think that there are people who really are doing it for the culture, right? Because they got nothing else.
I mean, think about the people who worked at the Source magazine.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean the original crew that started the Source magazine.
Right.
I mean, and how big they became and everything that branched off of that. You know, out of the Source, you know, you ended up with Double XL and rap
That's
pages,
right.
all of this. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Everybody was trying to have a rap magazine after the Source blew up.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah. So people who worked at the Source should be awarded for what they brought to the culture because that
Right.
was like the hip hop Bible, man, back in the
Right.
90s,
Right.
man. Yeah.
5
Right.
mics.
Yeah. You know, everybody was trying to get that 5 mics.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you had all those magazines that came, you know, after that. You had Vibe magazine, you had Rap Pages, right?
Right.
You
Mhm.
know, and you're right, but all of them contributed in their own way.
Yeah.
And so when we're using that term, you know, we're not talking about Black culture, but we're talking about hip hop culture.
Mm-hmm.
And so for those people who contributed to that, I think that those people ought to be awarded. I think that those people ought to be celebrated, right? And I don't think that we should forget them,
Most definitely.
right?
Most
Because
definitely.
remember, you know, that cat who was running around with the records, right? And you know, playing songs in the clubs. Remember, there was some guy in there who was hearing some beats and said, "Yo, I'm gonna do that," you know, because I heard Method Man talk about how he put together some of his songs. He said he was in clubs hearing records, and he said, "Wow, I can use that beat." You know what I mean? Well, you know, there's somebody who contributed to you developing that, man.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and you know, I know enough about, you know, Zaid to tell you, you know, an athlete is a lot like an artist too. We starve too, trying to get to what we trying to get to.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
Oh hell.
Anybody that's got a passion and a talent, man, you know, yeah, they're gonna be out there struggling. If they really like following it, you
yeah,
know, they're gonna go through it, man. I mean, when you were mentioning that, I mean, I just thought about my early 20s, you know what I mean? Like 21, 22, 23, and just
yeah, yeah.
really going through it in life, man. Just
Yeah.
trying to follow my dream,
Trying to
man.
find your way to.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So
Real.
that's why I'm saying you got to give a big up to, you know, what T.I. thought about, right? By saying I'm using these 26 or 27 apartments, and they're gonna be for these artists, man. For these young brothers who are homeless, who are struggling, trying to get their music out there, trying to develop themselves. That's my give back, right, to the culture, right? And then all of the other apartments is my give back to my community to make sure that they can afford quality housing, right? Not market rate, but you know, low income quality housing that folks can afford that live in the part of Atlanta where he come from, right?
Yeah.
Not
And
pricing me up.
Newark has two answers to that, right? We got the apartments on Halsey Street, and we got the apartments the Gilbert Gant complex
Mm-hmm.
up on Clinton Ave, right? It's relatively new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we right there on that with the Newark kid also, and there's still plenty of room for those of us who have to give back to those of us who have nots.
I rocked a couple of parties at that Gilbert Gant building too already.
I haven't been there. What's the space? A lot of space.
Yeah, the Black Box is a nice space, man. It's a real nice space, man. Yeah, they got an outside, for when the weather's good, you can go outside and chill out. They got a bar, a vegan bar. It's real cool in there. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Big ups to my man John Murray.
Love to do something there for sure.
Yeah, we can definitely do an event over there for sure. He, the dude John Murray, he's looking for people to come through and do events. So whenever y'all ready, man, I'll talk.
Yeah, love to do something there.
Yeah. But also speaking of struggling artists, man, Andre 3000, he's been struggling for a few years as far as getting his rap chops up. You know what I'm saying? But what he's been doing as an alternative is, he's been playing his wind instruments. He's been doing a lot of things with his wind instruments. And people, you always hear the stories and the rumors that, somebody spotted Andre 3000 out in the street somewhere playing his flute or whatever, you know what I mean? But that's pretty much what he's been doing a lot recently. That's where his head and his spirit's been at a lot recently. He spoke recently in a recent interview about how, he just doesn't have anything to say. Like lyrically, he doesn't have any raps coming to him that means anything. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to just rap to be rapping and saying anything. He knows that, if you're going to be speaking, you got to, say something worthwhile, talk about something that's going on, this, that, and the other. And he hasn't been able to, sum up any words yet to put together. So he's really just been focused on his wind instruments and just putting that down and just vibing out. So he just recently put out an album called New Blue Sun. And there's a lot of mixed reviews about it, man. But people who really understand music and really love music, they're gonna understand what's going on when they hear this album. When I heard the album, automatically I said ambient jazz. It's ambient jazz, you know what I mean? And it's good meditation music, like it's good morning meditation music. Myself personally, a few times I've put it on.
I was in an Uber and a young brother had it on. I didn't know who it was. I said, "Whoa,
morning."
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I was in an Uber a couple mornings ago, and a young brother had it on, and I'm like, and I'm looking to see what I said, damn, that's how he's rolling now. All right, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I put it on at night and wake up with it in the morning, and just it feels good, man. It does something to your spirit and soul, man. Because sometimes you don't need to wake up with a whole lot of noise and words and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Just to hear the sounds and hear the vibes, man. I already got a couple of favorites. It's funny, the song titles on the album are super long. I made a joke to somebody the other day that if you took all of the song titles and put them together, you would have a rap right there. Because that's how long his song titles are. Like one of the songs, the very first song on the album is called I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but this is literally the way the wind blew me this time. That's the name of the first song on the album.
Wow.
And that's actually one of my favorites on there. Another favorite of mine is number 4. It's called Bipolar Disorder. He spells it Buypolo. Bipolar. Bipolar Disorder's daughter wears a 3000 shirt embroidered. That's the name of the song.
Wow.
But it's about 8 cuts on here, and the name of the album is New Blue Sun. And like I said, I mean, if you're a music lover, and definitely if you're into jazz and stuff like that, if you're into ambient sounds, if you're into meditation, if you're into anything like that, man, you should enjoy it. I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy it, But I always tell people if you're looking for hip hop, you're gonna be disappointed because this is not a hip hop album in any sense. And at first, even myself, I thought it was gonna be wind instruments to beats. I thought there was gonna be some beats to it, and he was gonna play, some wind instruments to it, and it'd be like an instrumental kind of thing. It's still an instrumental thing, but it just doesn't have any really steady drums driving in it or anything like that. But it's a nice album. It's a nice, cool out album. It's a relaxing album. If you just need something to just cool and calm yourself down for a minute. Just take a break from all of the madness of the world. You know, this is a great album for that. So I think it's a good album to check out. I would recommend it. And it's called New Blue Sun by Andre 3000.
Rhino recommended.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I said, it's for music lovers.
Yeah, I dug it.
If you're just about hip hop, if you know this, because there's some people that are, they're kind of narrow. You know what I mean? It's just the hip hop thing for them. It's gotta be beats, rhymes. It's gotta be bars. You know, it's none of that. So if that's what you're looking for, don't even bother. But if you're a music lover, if you're looking for something new and fresh and different, check it out.
And so, what is it that some people are saying?
I mean, well, you know, there's people who are hardcore Andre 3000 fans, but I believe that they're fans of his lyrics. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us are really into Andre 3000's bars. He really says some very honest and open things, man. And people are always looking for that when they listen out for his music. But being that this doesn't have any lyrics to it, there's some disappointment out there. You know, again, there's some people I'm sure were looking for some beats too. They were looking for some drums on there. That's not on there. So you know, it's a lot of stuff that if you're really just steady on looking for some kind of beats and rhymes and stuff like that, you know, that's not what you're gonna get.
You know, that sort of reminds me, you know, when Mos Def was going through a period, you know what I mean? How, you know, people, you know, and I guess people who are artists do that, right? Like, you know, if they're not hearing, you know, from their spirit, particularly about their art, then they don't really want to put anything out. You know what I mean? Or if they put something out, they want to put out what they're hearing.
Right.
You know, and Zaid, you'll appreciate this. You know, that happened with Marvin Gaye. You know, with Marvin Gaye, when he put out Sexual Healing, I mean, that shocked people. You know what I mean? Because they was like, wait a minute, what is, you know, because they were used to hearing what's going on, and and those types of songs from him, those strong R&B records, and then he put out something called Sexual Healing. But that's what he heard, right? And that became a huge record for him. Yeah, it was sexual, but that's what he heard, right? You know, and so, you know, artists have to go into their space. And for Andre 3000, maybe that's where he's at. Same way with Mos Def, right? You know, I mean, you know, when they put out the Black album, think about it. You know, people, you know, not everybody. I mean, I remember hearing them, you know, tell folks don't buy it. You know what I mean? You know, like if you can't rock with it, don't buy it.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, for me, I think that space, and I think that artists and athletes have to be given space to be who they are.
Yeah,
right?
Most definitely.
You know, and because I was, you know, interesting sidebar here, Zaid and Rhino. You know, I was watching Shakur, and you know, in the interview, you know, he said he wasn't gonna make no complaints. He won the WBC lightweight title.
Shakur Stevenson, his last fight.
Shakur Stevenson, yeah. So he said, I'm not gonna make any, you know, any complaints. I wasn't myself, you know. He said, but I did enough to win. But what he said was key. He said and you'll appreciate this, Rhino, and so will you, Zaid. He said, as a fighter, he said we go through a lot of things mentally.
Yeah.
Right? He wasn't in the fight mentally. He did enough to win, but he wasn't there mentally.
You know, it's so crazy that you said that. In the interview, Andre said the almost opposite. He said as a rapper, as a lyricist, as a rapper, we go through things physically too. It's not just a mental thing. We go through physical things too. It's like we have to train ourselves. You know what I'm saying, to get back into that swing of being able to spit those bars and keep bringing them. You know what I mean? That's it. You have to train yourself.
Sonia used to tell the poets that too. Sonia Sanchez used to say that to the poets. You gotta be able to do that.
Yeah, and AZ was just on in an interview, and he was talking about the breath control. You know, I know KRS always talked about breath control. You know, to really get those bars out. You know, quickly and efficiently, you got to have great breath control, you know, and that was something that Big Daddy Kane, Nas, Rakim, you know, so many, like they mastered breath control and getting those rhymes out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's why people take. I think that's why people take off for a while, right?
Yeah,
they just disappear, man. You know what I mean?
Look at Lauryn Hill, man. She had to cancel the rest of her tour because of her vote. You know, she's going through vocals. She said her vocals have been strained. Like
right.
You know, she's going through something with that, so she's had to, you know, cancel some of her shows. I think it's the rest of her tour.
Remember, man, you're not a machine, right? You know, you're an actual person, man.
Right.
You know, and just like Andre said, I mean, physically you have things that you go through, man.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, I mean, listen, you know, as you get older, man, you wake up in the morning, you be like, yo, what the fuck? What's wrong with my leg? You know what I mean? Yo, what's wrong with my back? Yo, did I sleep on the wrong side? You know, I mean, you know, so you could imagine, man, what that stuff is like. I mean, it's just we just having real conversation, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know?
Yep. Frankie Beverly comes to mind. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Frankie Beverly was another one who he was an artist with his, man. He went wherever the wind took him. You know what I mean? Wherever
the music took him. Yeah.
That's real art.
And you can appreciate them cats, man. You know what I'm saying? You know, for that, man, because they really into their music. You know, that's why when Michael Jackson came back with Off the Wall and Beat It and all them records, you got to think about it. He was lit. Him and Quincy Jones was creating art, man, right? And to be able to, I mean, you know, and that's why the whole world can appreciate it, right? It's like, where's that stuff coming from? You know what I mean? It comes from somewhere deep inside of you if you're an artist, right? And you know, and you think about somebody like our brother Kafele. The reason Kafele is such a good speaker, right? And a good keynoter is because his history, right? Where he come from. And when he gets on stage, the reason he can go the way he go, because he's in another zone, he's in another space, right? And all that stuff becomes spiritual, man.
And he's a great teacher because he's a great man.
Yeah, right.
Let me tell you, Kafele is an inspiration. Anytime I listen to that brother or watch that, sometimes I watch his stuff.
Real proud of my brother. That's right.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
But I'm saying those are the people.
We need more Kafeles in our life, man.
Right.
So,
but those are the people that listen to what's going on inside of them, right?
Yeah.
And they're being and here's the other thing. They are being their authentic self, right? And I'm being my authentic self. So I'm saying, I don't give a damn how you perceive me, but I'm being authentic, right? And I'm going to give it to you like the ancestors is giving it to me. I'm going to give it back, right?
And that's what Andre did with this album. That's exactly what Andre did with this album. He's not trying to follow any trends. He's not trying to follow, you know, any requests and demands. He's
man.
What he wants to put out.
No, and at the end of the day, all of us have to get to that point, right? So that young people can see that how we show up in the world publicly is the same guy you're gonna talk to when you pull me to the side. That's how I'm gonna show up, right? Because I'm not, because I'm that guy. I really am that guy. And remember, it takes a while for us to get to be that guy, right? Because you know, you think you need approval for people to be authentic, man. You know, like you know, I don't know if I should say that. I don't know if I should really drop it like that. You think all that black talk that Kafele be having, everybody ain't into that, brother. You know what I mean? But the people who can appreciate that see themselves and say, "Wow, there's a light that just came on for me, man." Now, you know, I can be the kind of teacher that makes a difference in the world. Not somebody who just go to work every day and figure out, well, how can I get through the motions and get me a pension? No, man. You talking about changing people's lives. You talking about reaching people, man.
And that's a trait of all the greats, man. Like you see how they went against the grain. You know what I'm saying? They pushed the envelope and did something so different and were themselves like so much, man. With like, you know, I was talking earlier, like about like Cardi B, right?
Mm-hmm.
I like Cardi B. Like I don't mess with Cardi B's a whole lot of Cardi B's music, but Cardi B, I love to listen to her because she's so honest with it, man. And you know, people will talk about how she cussing this, that, and the other,
Yeah.
but she's getting the point across, man. And what she's saying is so honest and true from her gut. You know what I'm
But
saying?
she's also reaching. She's also speaking to some people who can hear her.
Right, exactly. And isn't that how it's always been? Like, you know, Flavor Flav and Public Enemy, you know, or a Richard Pryor or somebody. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? You're gonna have that. You're gonna have somebody that's gonna speak in the language of the people. And like Russell Simmons was another one. Russell Simmons would go into these meetings back in the day, you know, with the sneakers and the hats and all of that, and do his business. He's just sitting in the room with a bunch of suit and ties, and he's just going in doing his thing because he had a passion, and he knew what he was talking about. He knew what he was bringing to the table.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But there lies again. He was being his authentic self.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and that's important, man. Don't listen. You know, Zaid know this, right? And Kafele know this, right? Like, listen, man, when you young, right, you trying to get approval from people, right? You want people to approve you. But you know, when you get past that, when you really don't give a damn about what people think, because most people, you know, ain't really living your life, right? So you live your life, man. You know what I mean? And when you get to that point, man, what you got to do is you got to say, look, man, you know, I've got to be me because I got to wake up every morning and look at that cat brushing my teeth, man. You know? And then when you step out in the morning, you know, you're like, yo, man, I'm being who I am, right? And if you don't like it, I don't give a damn. You know what I mean? Because remember, and we all heard this, life is short, man. That shit ain't long. You know what I mean? I think about Minister Park.
Get shorter and shorter the older you get.
Yeah. You know, you wake up and that shit is real. You know? I mean, you know, listen, I know Kafele tell that story about when he had a heart attack and you know, and you think about, you know, you look at him and say, yo, you a young man, you know? I mean, come on, brother. Because we thought people who have heart attacks are old people. No,
man, I got a baby in critical condition now at Overlook Hospital. You know, a cerebral episode. You know, just out of the blue. Child, late 30s. You know, and just becoming a force in her work. She was becoming one of our forces in our work on domestic violence in New York. Right, and it just breaks my heart to see her like that. She's fighting, but a young woman going through all of that. And I can go on down the list on how just all that we're carrying. We can't be bullshitting with our time.
No,
and being our authentic selves.
We got to be our authentic self, man. You know, that's why Zaid love or hate our brother the mayor. He's being his authentic self, man. Right? Love him or hate him, brother. You know what I mean? And and for me, I say the same thing for you, Zaid, right? Like, for me, I mean, all the people lives you sold into, you've helped all of them be them authentic selves, bro. Right? And here you are still on your post, man. Right? And I mean, for a lot of other cats, they would have sold out. They'd have said, yo, I can't stay on this square, brother. But I mean, that's like I hear brothers and sisters say all the time, man. A lot of them old cats, man, they died without pensions, but they stayed on their square, bro.
Damn right.
You know what I mean? And because I hear I hear Rakia, she tell me stories all the time about the price her family paid for her father staying on that square, bro.
That's right.
But Rhino, that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? If you believe in that, man, and you believe the work you're doing to change the lives of our people, and you authentic about what you're doing, you stand on that square, bro.
That's right.
And I think that's why we keep showing up here every week doing what we do, man, because we believe what All Politics and Local stands for, man. It is the drum, and we give everybody an opportunity to come through, man, and just share with the people, brother. So listen, man, y'all know we out of time. I'm gonna give Rhino I'm gonna give you the last word, my brother.
Real quick, I just want to say happy anniversary to the Far Side, which you see on my T-shirt right here.
Get to
Far
that.
Side back in 1992 on this day they put out their album.
92,
Yeah,
31 years ago.
Hey, wasn't the Far Side a funk band?
Nah, Far Side. Nah, you thinking about Lakeside.
Lakeside. Okay.
Yeah, Lakeside was a funk band, but they were, I believe, they were from Cali though, and Far Side was from Cali.
Yeah.
But they put out, but in '92 on this day they put out an album.
Oh,
They put out an album called Bizarre Ride 2, which had the classic song on there that everybody knows. I think everybody knows this song. Passing Me By. She keeps on passing me by.
Yeah,
and
I know
that,
that's my own drum.
yeah, and let me tell you, that the sample, the main sample on that record was Quincy Jones' "Summer in the City."
Okay.
Quincy Jones' "Summer in the City." That was the main sample from that record. But that was a huge hit for the Far Side back in '92. People still throw that on to this day, man. That's a huge classic off of that album.
Yeah.
But yeah, big ups to the Far Side, 1992, Bizarre Ride 2. That was the name of the album. On a lighter note, your man Snoop Dogg talking about he not smoking anymore.
Yeah, I heard that.
You know, the message looks kind of serious, so you know I'm gonna see what happens. I'm gonna take his word, see what happens. But so far, what I've been, I was saying is that last time Snoop said he wasn't gonna smoke anymore, he changed his name to Snoop Lion, and then he doubled up on the weed. So we'll see what happens with Snoop.
But Rhino, so let me ask you this, because Bashir told me it was a health issue. That's what Bashir told me.
Now that could be a thing. You know what I'm saying? That could be why, and so that's why I say we'll see what happens, because at first it was just the message that he wasn't doing it, and he asked for prophecy at this time. So like I said, it could be as serious as a health issue.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what develops as far as that. But prayers to Snoop if that is the case. Prayers up to him and hope he works things out. With his health. That's it for me. Tomorrow, the usual time, 3 p.m. Twitch.tv/Rhino CMZ for the Saturday Shake-Up. I'm gonna be on there tomorrow, 3 p.m. There every Saturday, 3 p.m. I'm gonna go in with some jams tomorrow, so check me out.
Yeah, two things real quick, and I want to apologize to everybody. If you don't see me on social media, it's because I got knocked off social media without explanation or apology. I don't know how long that's going to be. I'm trying to figure that out. Somebody told me it might be 30 days. I don't know, but if it's not in 30 days, I'll figure something else out. So I apologize for not being there for folks who are used to seeing me on social media. I ain't dead yet. But the other thing is today is the 59th anniversary of Malcolm coming back from his third and most extensive trip abroad. 5 months in Africa, from July to November '64, building out their Pan-African human rights campaign to challenge the United States government on the question of genocide. 5 months. Let's study Malcolm for real, right? Let's study him for real. It's all in there.
So let's thank our guests tonight. I obviously want to thank the disciples for coming through. Appreciate that, and then bringing our first lady,
Linda,
Baraka, and bringing Shoshanna Page, right, the policy director for our city. So we thank both of those sisters for coming through. And they said that the ice skating rink is going to open tomorrow, right? So tomorrow at 4:00, it's going to be free down. Make sure you guys get down there, support that, get on the ice, and take your families down and have a great time down there at the Prudential Center. And they got this program coming up that they're working on for the sisters that is called D Free, and so you're going to hear a lot more about it. But they're going to make some announcements. It's going to start in January, so we'll get them back on and talk a little bit more about it. So make sure you all stay abreast of that. And then Zaid, let's thank those sisters for coming.
Man, my sisters Toni Erwin and Denise Washington, Drew Washington's aunts. Those are community mothers, right? Those cold soul, old school community mothers holding it down in their city, after in the aftermath of the killing of their nephew, Andrew Washington, to a mental health crisis, the Jersey City Police. Birthday celebration Sunday, 2 o'clock at All Pros, and City Council meeting Thursday. I think it's also at 6 o'clock on the question of trying to develop that community-led emergency response campaign. It's holding the line. Good sisters. Very proud of them.
Yep. Very proud of them sisters. And let's see if we can answer this question for our brother. Any thoughts on all the lawsuits?
What lawsuits?
I thought maybe y'all might know what he's talking about. Any thoughts on all
We need
these
to bring him on and let's hear his thoughts. That's how
well, Capele don't need he don't need an invitation from us. That brother welcome to come anytime. Oh, I think he just answered it. Did he accept?
Rhino, that's your alley. You got to hit that first.
Rhino.
I normally don't report on that stuff, but I mean, what's to say? I mean, well, he's saying all of these lawsuits. Well, that's because now there's more.
Yeah, a few of them
it started off with Cassie. Cassie was taking Diddy to court on some serious charges, and within 24 hours, it got settled out of court. And Diddy was trying to clean up his name and all of that. He had his lawyer out there trying to say, just because he settled doesn't mean he was guilty and all this other stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So all of that was going on. But then, boom, like within the next day or two, there's more accusations on him. And, now I hear that Jamie Foxx or something. Somebody's going at Jamie Foxx now. It's really coming out of the woodworks now.
Wow.
But some people are saying it's because Cassie got paid off, and now everybody's trying to get some money. So, people coming out the woodworks. But we'll hear more developments on that too, though.
Yeah, that's baggage in the industry too. People women get exploited in that way, and when that happens, it should be called out and condemned, and folks should be held accountable for that.
Indeed, because when the Cassie thing first came out, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, they finally caught up with him too, huh?" That was what a lot of people were saying. Wow. Diddy's got a dual history. You know what I'm saying? Good and bad. We all got our good and bad sides, man.
Yeah. And with most of us coming out of the streets, we're gonna have that.
Yeah.
Be honest about it, to own and to clean our stuff up.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, listen, man. I tell y'all, one thing is for sure. I'm not privy to what the settlement was on that first one, but if I was advising Puff, I would settle all of these, right? Because I wouldn't want any of this stuff to go public. Because if any criminality come out, remember that's what happened with R. Kelly. Once they found out there was some criminality, those cases took on a life of their own.
Yeah,
right? And then he started getting prosecuted for that stuff. So. And I'm sure his attorney Brofman. I mean, remember Brofman makes $650 an hour, right? Mm-hmm. So that white cat is not, he's. I'm sure he's telling Puff, you can pay me $650 an hour, because that $2 million retainer you gave me is going to be gone soon, or we can settle. And he said, you making all that money, you got all that money. Let's just figure out what it's going to take for all this stuff to go away, right? And if you gave each one of them $10 million, he still ain't ever gonna be broke, right? I mean,
got it.
I would advise him, to go ahead and pay the girls, right? Because remember, even if you got to think about what Michael Jackson went through.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that was in the back of my mind. I had mine when we were talking. Yeah.
I mean, Michael Jackson, even after he had settled with that guy, remember, they went on and prosecuted that brother anyway.
Sure did.
And then remember what he went through.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm those guys, that's what I'm thinking about, right? I'm saying, man, because what good is the money if you're buying and sitting in jail, right? Like R. Kelly, right? Your ass sitting there. And whether you did it or not, right? but now your career is messed up just based on all of the negative publicity. Because I read somewhere where Macy's said that they were phasing out Sean John.
Yeah. So that too.
That's collapse. That's how that can go.
Yeah, it's already hitting them now.
Yeah. So if your clothing line is being hit right already at a major distributor like Macy's,
started a whole nother segment based on the next question.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get Cavali on this one. Well, listen, y'all. We want to thank all of y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it. We hope you all had a great family day. With your families and celebrating and being with one another. And we hope everybody's safe. We thank y'all for tuning into All Politics the Local, America's number one political hip hop radio talk show. Listen, we'll see y'all at the same place, same time next week. As my brother Zaid used to say, we'll catch him where, Zaid?
Whirlwind.
We'll catch y'all in the whirlwind.
And we don't stop.
Peace.
Right, y'all.